What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's Kush back at it again with another episode of the Just Chillin podcast call-in stream. How's everybody doing? Want to say shout out to everybody on here. Thank you all for tuning in. We got Max Webster, Football Talk with Benny, Joe Yaddo, who's backstage, along with Mike Nixon, Joseph Balby, Big Pat Sports Talk, Jaden Dawkins, Logan's Giant Zone, Big Blue in the Bronx, Sugar Tots. I think that's everybody in here now. Vance, Billow, Ligma, C-Bands, them say liking, aka Bradley. Welcome everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. Nate Talks Giants in here as well. Edward Chan, Asian Kid Cubing, 1995. Yeah, shout out to you too as well. Sabrina, if you were a member, guys, the link is already available to you. You could call in. I will be dropping the link to everybody in about, like 20 minutes or so. Shout out to Nerding Out Sports as well. Would love to talk to all y'all. Josh Valencia, let's just get over it. Let's get Mike in here first and then Joel. Mike, how you doing, man? What's up? Now, before Mike came on, we were talking about Knicks stuff because, well, me and Mike are Knicks fans. So you want to continue with that or you want to you want to talk about the Giants? What's up?
First off, Julius Randle made the All-Star team. Mm-hmm. He's just coming off the bench.
Mm-hmm. I feel like he should have made it as just an All-Star. I mean, but I'm glad he made it. That's our first All-Star since. Yeah, go on.
He is an All-Star. But
I love what I'm saying is I would have preferred if like they gave him he deserves the recognition of a starter. In my opinion, he's been one of the best players in the league this year.
I mean, yeah, but
I could see where people say, "Listen, I'm happy he made the All-Star." Don't get it twisted now. He's the first All-Star since Porzingis, right?
Yep.
But hey, man, yeah.
First,
so what's up?
Not much. I have a mock draft, or at least part of one.
Oh, word.
For you.
Okay. Let me hear it.
1, Trevor Lawrence, of course.
Mm-hmm.
2, I have the Jets selecting Zach Wilson.
Okay.
3, I have the Dolphins selecting Penei Sewell.
Mm-hmm.
4, this is where I got a little bold. I had the Panthers trading up
with the Falcons, right? The Falcons was that 4th, right?
Yeah. And I have them selecting Trey Lance.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely bold. I'll tell you that. That's bold for sure. Trey Lance at 4th overall. That's bold. I'll tell you that.
5, I had the Bengals selecting Kyle Pitts. 6, I have the Eagles selecting Justin Fields. 7,
I just realized you had Trey Lance go above Justin Fields.
Yep.
Okay.
7, I have the Lions selecting Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm.
8, I had the Falcons selecting Caleb Farley. 9, I had the Broncos selecting Patrick Surtain. 10, I had the Cowboys selecting Rashawn Slater.
Mm-hmm.
And number 11, I had the Giants selecting Devontae Smith.
Now, I like that you had Smith drop in there because y'all already know. I do think there's going to be one wide receiver available at the very least at 11. That's kind of a crazy mock in the top 10, though. I got to be honest. Trey Lance going before. To be honest with you, that was probably the only crazy thing. It's that you had Justin Fields going after Trey Lance. And I see Nate saying, if there really is a benevolent God, he'll let us see the Eagles take another North Dakota State University quarterback. That would be absolutely hilarious. But yet, to be honest, even though your mock draft was definitely different, I'll say that it was different. It's not too out there. It's just the Trey Lance before Fields thing that caught me off guard.
Mm-hmm.
So is that that's just one of the ways?
I just have a feeling that the Panthers might value Trey Lance over Justin Fields.
Why though?
I just think the Panthers' play style is more fitting for Trey Lance.
Okay. Well,
than Justin Fields.
So it has for you more to do about scheme fit rather than which player is better. Which player do you
Yeah.
think is better?
I'll say Justin Fields,
Mm-hmm.
but
Is it a big gap for you or no?
nah. I think they're about neck and neck.
Okay, that's fair enough in terms of drafting. So why'd you have Pitts
Mhm.
going to the Bengals?
Because I have a feeling that they're one of the teams that are valuing him as the number 2 receiver in the draft.
A number 2 receiver.
Because teams are valuing him as a receiver than a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a feeling that the Bengals are that team, are at least one of the teams.
I mean, a lot of teams are viewing him as a receiver in general. I'll say that. Some teams view him as number 1, some view him as number 2. With the Bengals, I guess he'll probably definitely be a number 2, considering that. I mean, they don't have a stacked wide receiving core, but they got a pretty good wide receiving core over there. Yeah. So I got a question for you, Bengals related. How'd you feel about the whole Darius Slayton tweeting at Carl Lawson thing?
I mean, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I mean, Lawson is pretty good, and Slayton has the experience of knowing what Lawson can bring to the table. Hey, it's not.
Did they
It's
play at the
not
same time?
a
Did they play at the same time?
I think so.
Lawson came out in what
so.
draft? 2017, I want to say. Right?
Yeah, but Slayton was probably there.
Well, there's a very simple way to check that. When did Darius Slayton join Auburn? Right? If they did, it would be very, very close. You know, that's what I'm thinking. Because he came out in 2019, obviously. So yeah, I guess there was probably a little bit of overlap there. Yeah, they did play together at Auburn at least for like 3 years at least. So hey, you got it there. But here's the thing: Carl Lawson isn't really a fit for us, though. That's the thing. Like, he's really good. I'll say that he's really good. He's a really good edge rusher. I don't know if he's necessarily a fit for us. So what do you think about that?
I mean, I have heard people say he could move to the outside linebacker role, which a lot of the scouts thought he would play outside linebacker.
So you would try and take a chance on him?
Yeah.
Would you sign him?
I trust.
Yeah.
I trust our coaching staff.
All right, I'm asking you, Mike Nixon. Would you sign him if we managed to re-sign Leonard Williams?
I say yeah.
Really?
I'll take a shot at him.
Take a shot at him. At that point, it'd either be a really backloaded contract or maybe you offer him like a 1-year deal type of thing, because obviously Leo's going to eat a lot of cap.
Yeah.
Okay. And then also related to the Bengals, there's another guy there, William Jackson, who I made a video on last week that a lot of people want for the Giants. You know, he's definitely he's not great. He's a really good cornerback, right? I kind of described him in the vid as like a lower number 1, like top number 2 type corner. He's like very good. And you have, in my opinion, an elite secondary if the Giants somehow do manage to snag him or a player like him. What do you think about William Jackson?
I love him. I like William Jackson, and I would definitely look at him in free agency. I would, because then our secondary is near elite.
We're basically NYPD again.
Yep.
And so here's my thing for you though. He might be looking for a little bit more than he's worth. What do you think he's worth contract wise?
He's about 29 to 30 years old.
I thought he was like 27.
Personally,
Oh yeah, because when he came in, he was already old when he came in. Yeah, he's like 28. Yeah.
I would sign him to a 3-year deal
Mm-hmm.
where worth about 30 mil.
So 10 a
About,
year. Okay. How would you
yeah.
structure it? Or you actually, you know what? I don't even need to ask that because that's not a bad deal, in my opinion. But yeah, Mike. Any
But
last thoughts before?
I
Oh, my bad.
I definitely would have an opt out after 2.
I don't know if he'd
That
sign it
deal.
at that point then, because then it's essentially just a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
But Mike, any last thoughts before I bring in Joel here?
No. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Hey, thank you, man. And did the Knicks game end yet? Let me actually look at that.
No. It's
It,
94-87.
hey, listen. Everybody just cheer for the Knicks to make a comeback and win. That's all I gotta say. All right, Mike. Catch you later, bro. Joel, what's up, man? How you doing?
Not too bad, Hub. How you doing tonight?
I'm a little bit tired. I'll be honest. But I'm doing fine, man.
A lot of that going on, but the warm weather hitting tomorrow, that's going to make everybody sleepy too.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, just an FYI here, this Manscaped thing, that's not really a troll job, all right, boss? It's more like I'm trying to be an advertising guy for you.
I don't
Trying
think
to
I
get
called
the
it a
word.
troll, Joel. I think I said you were making jokes.
Yeah, I know, but it's kind of funny. How can you
It
not
is
laugh?
hilarious.
It's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna roll with it.
I
Now we're
love
gonna
it, and I thank you for that because you make it way more fun than I can make it.
Well, yeah, that's what you said the other day. You're like, there's certain things you can't get away with, but I can as a subscriber coming in live with the chat. And I was like, hey,
Yeah,
you know what, guys, shave your nutsack. What the hell? Give her a treat.
exactly.
20% off with Hub. Now let's get everybody here fired up a little bit. I'd like to talk about the one guy we really haven't been talking about in a while, and that's our quarterback, Daniel Dimes Jones. He has been Mr. Irrelevant here for the last 3 weeks. We've been talking about wide receivers and offensive line and our defense. And
Do you
yet,
think it's a good thing or a bad thing we haven't been talking about him?
yeah, you know what? I guess it could be a good thing because we're not getting the negativity that
Yeah,
we get
exactly.
from the one half of the fan base that is like, okay, you know what? Yeah, he sucks. Well, they say, well, he fumbled a lot. Well, he only had 6 fumbles. Well, he turned the ball over a lot. He had 10 interceptions. He had 10 touchdowns. But now let's not forget that he did the heavy lifting between the 20-yard lines to throw the ball or running with his legs to get us down to the end zone. How many tries did we have at a touchdown and failed this year? So, realistically, he didn't have anybody really to throw to. Didn't have Barkley, and when Barkley's back there with him. So I've been doing a lot of thinking. And do you think Dak Prescott's a good quarterback?
I think Dak Prescott is good. Yeah, I think he's a good quarterback. Yeah, for sure.
If I told you that he was 5 for 11 since 2017 against teams above 500, would that be acceptable for you as a quarterback?
As a quarterback,
Yeah, as somebody who follows a team, and I said that your quarterback is 5 of 11 since 2017 against teams above 500.
no, I
Now,
wouldn't like
Dak,
that at all. No, I wouldn't like it. No.
okay, Dak Prescott came in. He was a 4th-round pick. He had the number 1 offensive line. He's always had a stud wide receiver. He's got one of the best running backs in the NFL. What is he missing to where he can't win a big game? Now everybody's coming down hard on Jones when Jones is actually playing about the same with less. He doesn't have that stud old lineman. He doesn't have that stud old receiver. Barkley was out this year. Barkley was hurt last year. You know, he did the few things that he really needed to do to let people know that he really deserves a shot this year. And I feel he's going to break out of what everyone's seeing this year if we have the preseason, if we have OTAs, if we have, you know what, his defense does choke a lot, but how many times does he have the ball at the last 2 minutes and doing a game winning? How many times does his stats padded because they're down 17 points? So the other team is letting Dak just throw the ball in a prevent defense, getting 15 yards, go down, score a touchdown, kick a field goal, try an onside kick. Hello, Atlanta Falcons. You know, he's getting a lot of garbage time numbers where Daniel Jones isn't getting the garbage time numbers because we're in the frigging game. We're only down by 7. We're only down by 4. We're with 2 minutes to go.
Shout out to Diggy in the chat. By the way, Diggy, feel free to pop in as well if you got time.
Look at me. You think I'm going to manscape anything? I just got the Santa Claus look. All right. I'm getting ready for next year. Getting my wish list ready. Checking it twice. But that's what I just looking at different stuff, trying to come up with different ideas. You know, we've done the draft constantly. And I'm like, what can I talk about differently? You know, that kind of blew my mind when I was reading some of this stuff between, you know, what's going on with this quarterback, that quarterback. And we all know what's going on with Wentz. And we all know how scary Washington could be if they get a quarterback. So that's where I decided to start looking into that stuff. Guys, how could you hate a quarterback in his second year that's doing the same stuff with a guy who's got the elite team? Those guys should be in the playoffs every friggin' year, going deep into the playoffs with that kind of offense.
To be fair, I will say this, because you already know I'm a Daniel Jones guy. I've been right with you on the front lines defending him. But I will say this. He had an elite team up until to a point. Definitely not this year, because, Jesus, were the Cowboys just terrible this year. But your point is coming across very well.
Yeah, because if you look at it, look at Dak's numbers this year. Everyone's like, oh, he's rated 4th in the league before he went out. Guys, that's that padded stat again, because they were down by 20 points in the fourth quarter. The defense goes into the prevent. Well, Dak's just going to pick them apart because they're going to give him 10, 12, 15-yard completions, keep everything in front. That's that's the name of the game in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you know, and I don't even have anything to add on, man. I just agree with you. The best point that you brought up, in my opinion, was second-year quarterback, which a lot of people forget, which a lot of people misconstrue, and it's just like, it's a second-year quarterback. You got to give him time to develop. I mean, I don't know how many times multiple people have to say that. And it's a second-year quarterback, honestly, in a terrible situation.
It is, you know, and it's like, I hate going back into the old days because half you people only know him because of he's got a Super Bowl ring, and that's Phil Simms. Phil Simms, when he was drafted, was booed off the stage. Daniel Jones was booed off the stage. Phil Simms came into a team where they had no offensive linemen, they had no defense, they had nothing. The year was 1979. Daniel Jones came into this team with nothing. He had Saquon Barkley, he had Odell Beckham for 1 year. We made out in that trade. We got multiple players. We got really good picks. We got team needs over one guy that he's been hurt the last couple of years. So if you really want to look at the producing numbers, that's something else. Whereas this sometimes I get lost in my own thoughts here.
That's okay.
You know,
While you're catching yourself, I'll just let people know, got kind of a GOAT lineup ready here for the call-ins. Next, we got Football Talk with Benny, then Logan, then Rob from Nerding Out Sports, then Big Pat Sports Talk, then Nate, who I'm very excited to have on, and then Zeke, who I think is he's been a new subscriber, you know, past couple of weeks, but he's always calling and love Zeke. Yeah, but go ahead, Joel, if you remembered anything.
Yeah, Nate's like me. My mouth can't keep up with my brain. I've got 75 different ideas, but I can't get them all out at any time. So, look.
Oh, Joel, you there? Okay, good.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you froze for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, he never had OBJ, but what I'm saying with the OBJ thing is he wouldn't have been here either because we don't know if he'd be hurt. So he wouldn't have been on the team, but on the team. So he would be missing that weapon. He'd be missing Barkley. He'd be missing all the Tate was out for a little bit, and Shepard. We have to remember all of that when we're evaluating DJ, when we're looking at the team. I mean, everybody's giving Darnold excuses. All the experts are
And I'll say
Darnold.
this, Joe. I even said this during the season. I was like, look at Jets fans, bro. Jets fans at one point were still rocking with Sam Darnold. They were still like, he's our quarterback because they recognize the situation he's in. And I was really thinking to myself, wow, Jets fans are really acting better than Giants fans out here. What is this, man?
Right. And then it's like Deshaun Watson had a worse record, but you know what? Everyone's like, well, he's a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. If you look at the record this year, I'm sorry, Daniel has more wins than Deshaun. Who is a worse team, the Texans or the Giants? Could be considered a toss-up as far as both teams. Both teams gave up points. Both teams had good defensive games, bad defensive games, good offensive games. We saw it throughout the whole season of this guy does this good, this guy does that good, and getting the right people. And that's what everyone says about Deshaun Watson in Texas. Well, if he goes to the Jets, they're not going to get anybody around him.
Mm-hmm.
That still has to come back into the Giants. That comes back into Miami. That comes back into, hell, look at the Eagles. I mean, they're in trouble for the next 6-8 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take them a long time to dig out of that hole. So.
And I just want to say, we got KB in the house.
What up? Yo, what up? What up?
Has been missing on YouTube for years now.
I'm back.
No, when I pop,
get more consistent.
When I pop Joel, I guess I'm gonna have a little impromptu panel here since we got a couple tubers in here with KB, Nate, Rob, and Big Pat. I'll have a little one. Don't worry, guys. I'm still doing the call-in. Of course, I'm gonna still do the call-in. It's Tuesday, but yeah, go ahead, Joe. I mean, KB, Joe was out here talking about how. Well, he's bringing up. He admitted he was trying to stir some controversy. We haven't talked about Daniel Jones for a while. I'm bringing that up.
Okay.
Well, you know what? Mm-hmm. I was bringing up Daniel Jones and I was bringing up Dak's record. Dak since 2017 is 5-11 against teams that are above 500 winning percentage. Okay, is that the standard that you're going to allow your quarterback to be?
I mean, you wouldn't want that, no.
Exactly. So how is Dak better than Daniel? When Dak had the number one offensive line, Dak has always had good wide receivers. Dak has always had a really good running back, but yet they don't make it to the playoffs every year.
I'd agree. I'd agree with you with the comparison there with the wins, but just by watching, I mean, I wouldn't say Dak is that good of a quarterback. A lot of people says he is. I wouldn't say that Daniel is better than him. But I see what you're trying to do here, Joe. Trying to stir the pot a little bit. But and it does bring a good conversation because, is Dak Prescott coming off of a broke ankle worth spending that much money for? And for them still not to win games and still not make the playoffs. I understand what you're saying there. And that's why I'm really looking forward to this third year with Daniel Jones, man, because I really think he could make that leap and probably be the best NFC East quarterback. But I mean, we'll see. That brings up a good little comparison there.
But the thing is all the haters, they've been kind of hiding lately, especially when our coaching staff is improving. Our offensive coordinator is coming back. Now, not everybody's sold on Jarrett, but you know what? He's part of the Giants. Judge believes in him. I believe in Judge. So I'm going to follow him. Freddie Kitchens got elevated from his position to where he's now part of the OC.
Yeah, I think he's assistant head coach, is he not?
He's something like that. We got a new line coach that this guy I like.
Robert Sale.
Yeah, Sale. I've been watching some of his videos and stuff. And
bro, all you got to do is look at what his players say about him. And I was like, this is it.
That gets you fired up.
You can tell the culture we're building with this team. You can just tell.
And then again, I'm going to get right back into my old Old Faithful, we need O-line depth. We
100%.
might not need a first-round pick, but a second or a third-round pick interior, and then maybe in one of the sixth rounds, look at a tackle, or if one of those guys drops.
Joe, you're not gonna love my second mock draft, which I'm halfway done with, by the way, guys. It should be out by the end of the week. But a lot of my second mock drafts was based off the feedback to the first one. Obviously, the third one I'm gonna go back to doing what I want to do, which was the first one. But this second one was based off the comments of the first one, which means, Joe, you're probably not gonna like the second mock draft.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm a Hog Molly guy still, and we're not fixed. We're not ready.
We're not, and I agree.
Let me ask you a question, Joe, and this is something I've been going back and forth with myself on, so I'm interested to get your thoughts on it. So this is not trying to pin you in a corner or anything. Say the Giants, because obviously when it comes to drafting for interior O-line or O-line in general, we really need to see what happens in free agency, and if we let go of Kevin Zeitler. If we let go of Kevin Zeitler, we probably must have to get a guard in the first 3 rounds. Now, what do you think? What do you want to do if we keep Kevin Zeitler and Will Hernandez comes back and they're there at the guard spots? Do you still go guard in those early rounds, or do you focus on other positions of need? Because in my honest opinion, if we can get Will Hernandez at least better than where he was at, we can get the Robert Sale guy to elevate his game, and we still have Kevin Zeitler solid. I don't see why we need to get an interior that early, but I do agree we need depth, but I don't know if we need that much of a high pick, but I want your thoughts on that.
Because if we're going to do that, then what I want to do is pick a center, because I'm going to take Gates and move him to right tackle, and I'm going to have him combined with Pert. And I want a competition there. I'm going to get one of them two over there that's going to goddamn stop these guys from coming and just whacking the hell out of Daniel Jones and causing him to fumble the football.
Before you go off, KB, I got a paintbrush here. Before you go off, right? I'm gonna ask you to keep the answer short, because I really got to switch Joel out.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. Well, I like your thought process. I just wish it would have been with somebody else, because I don't like Nick Gates at right tackle, but I do like your thoughts. I do like your thoughts there to keep get the rotation going.
My last thing is Gates. You might not be fond of him, however, he's a very good swing tackle in case of an emergency. I would rather have Gates as a swing tackle than I would Fleming. Yes.
And Joel, as usual, leaving it off with a very controversial thought. Right. But thank you, Joel. Thank you for calling in, man.
All right. Have a good night, fellas.
Yeah. Like I said, go ahead.
Let me tell you, I want hair like Joel's when I get older, man.
I want a beard. I can't grow a beard like that.
Dude is rocking I want that long hair, man.
Yeah.
Dude is rocking it, man.
Like I said, I'm going to have a quick impromptu panel here, and then I'm going to get – so we got Nerding Out Sports, Big Pat, and Nate, and then I'm going to switch then we're going to get in football talk with Benny, Logan Games Lounge. We're going to get back to the call-in show in a second, but first and foremost, welcome on, everybody. How y'all doing? Kind of a little impromptu thing here, man. What's up, guys?
Yo, what's good, man? And that was impromptu. I wasn't expect to be in the panel, man.
Yeah, I was sitting in a totally different chair away from the microphone. I was scrambling to get out of my seat, bro.
Like I said, it's gonna be impromptu. Then I'm gonna head back to the call-in show, just because I was like, I'm gonna have KB on, so why not have you guys on for a short time as well? But what do you think on the comment that Joe left off on switching Gates to a swing tackle?
If anybody wants my thoughts on it or is confused about thoughts on it, go watch my film review on Nick Gates about him in the guard and the tackle spot, and you will get your answer there.
I think I love what Nick Gates provides at center for us. I think he ticks every box at center that you could ask for. He's big, he's physical, he's got a mean streak a mile wide. He looks like a center. He sounds like a center when he's bringing that energy. I love him there. He's solidifying a spot we've needed for the last few years. Why mess with something that's working? We've already got other holes to work on. Why are we making more? We've got a good center who's playing high-quality ball for a cheap contract. I don't know why we're going to mess with that. In terms of, in a worst-case scenario, could he be a swing whatever the hell we want him to be? Sure. But should we be actively looking to make that happen? I don't see any logic to it. I think we should just stick with him at center, absolutely get some guard depth. We definitely need it, especially if Zeitler moves on. And then we'll see how Matt Pert and Andrew Thomas do at the tackle spots. For now, I don't really want to switch too much up with this offensive line. I kind of want to get these young guys back, see what we have, Let them all kind of continue to develop and get better and mature at their spots. I liked the potential we saw last year. I want to see that keep growing. Then, after this season, after we've seen what they have to offer and what the chemistry looks like, we can reevaluate and go from there. But in terms of just this offseason, I don't really want to mess with it too much. I want to let it ride what we have.
Yeah, that's the same here, man. Nick Gates won me over, man, when he got into it with Aaron Donald. So, yeah.
Big facts.
He's legit at center. Even though we did sign that one guy from the Jets, I don't believe he's a starting caliber center. So moving Nick Gates to right tackle, a swing tackle, would just destroy the whole line chemistry. So, no, we need to keep those guys together to see exactly what they can do next year, and then we can reevaluate after that.
And yeah, I'm not trying to talk too much here, but I just want to say that picks up on something I've been a big fan of, which is a lot of people during this season and then after the season were really getting on the whole switching thing and the shuffling that we were doing in the season. And I was a big fan of it because I think when you have these pieces and you're not really sure what they are yet, but all you know is that they all have upside, you should be in a year like this when you know you're not going to be going deep into the playoffs. Just see what you have, switch it around, find what works best, see who has the best chemistry where on each side of the line. Then, as we continue to understand that with a new coaching staff that's getting a feel for their players, getting a feel for the matchups, then we can start to solidify things and get everyday starters at each position. But for now, I don't really think there was any necessity to really have some sort of consistent starting lineup at the line. I really like what they were doing. I think we'll continue to see some level of that, maybe not the same, but some level of it going into next year until we have that real solid line that we're looking for.
And Rob, let me get your thoughts. You've been kind of quiet there.
I absolutely agree with Nate, man. Nick Gates needs to stay at center. I can definitely see if there was some need to move him over if like an injury were to happen and we didn't bring back Cam Fleming. But no, he played great. He slowly improved as the season went on. He started off really bad, and I know his number one fan over there was probably happy to hear about it. But no, he definitely got better as the season went on. The same went for Andrew Thomas and even a little bit of Shane Lemieux. He kind of got better and better. Ups and downs with the whole line because they're all young. And but we need continuity. We need to keep this thing growing, and that's how the last great offensive line we had. That's how it started. It started off slow. They were bad. They got better as time went on, and they were great. And I want to see the same thing happen with this line. I really like Matt Parrott, and I think
you're speaking KB's language here.
Yeah, Matt Parrott is decent. I said when he got drafted, he had an opportunity to start at right tackle.
He's a beast. The physical potential there.
Yeah, that was good value as well.
Absolutely, it was good value. And you're talking about. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, y'all know how me and KB feel about Matt Parrott, bro. Both,
I had Matt Parrott over Austin Jackson in that last draft. Okay, I would watch film on all those tackles, and I came to the conclusion. I'm like, I'm looking at Walter Football, I'm looking at DraftTech.com, and they all have Matt Parrott as a third round prospect. And I'm like, man, this guy is like, I think middle second round or high second round, and I did not like Austin Jackson whatsoever. And that case is being proven because Austin Jackson sucks. So that's how high I was on Matt Parrott, man. I really think, all jokes aside, I really think he could start next year, guys. I really do.
And this is my first offseason actually really looking at tape and breaking down college prospects, so I can't really speak to that. I'll take your word for it. But just in terms of what Rob was saying about Nick Gates, I 100% agree. When you're looking at players that are coming into the season, right, at new positions, rookies coming in, you want to see improvement. Is it great to have a guy like Justin Herbert come in and knock the lights off the league day one? Absolutely. Should you expect it? And should that be the standard? No. Absolutely. So when you see guys come in and you see guys developing and getting better at their positions and as a unit, because that's a very important piece there with an offensive line, as a unit, getting better and developing over the course of the season, that's a really, really, really good sign. And it was something I was thinking about earlier today because I don't know if all y'all saw it, but a blast came out on ESPN. Apparently, in Washington, Alex Smith didn't feel wanted when he came back. There was this big comeback story around him, and Washington didn't even want him there. It feels good to be the only healthy locker room in the entire division, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel nice to be the only one with a healthy locker room culture going forward?
Which is
I
crazy.
mean, it is what
2
it
years
is.
ago, it wasn't like that. When we had Matt, it was not like that
and
at all.
I am like I've been following the Giants like heavily for I don't know 6-7 years, like actually going into all their depth stuff and things like that, and roster moves and things like that. I've never in my entire time watching this team been more attentive and hyped up about their position coaches and all the guys that don't have big names around them, like all the guys that have small jobs, you know, like I want to know who the strength and conditioning coach is. I want to know who the freaking offensive line coach is. Like stuff that other casual fans don't care about, we care about because it's obviously paying off. It's paying dividends. It's speaking volumes to how this team is doing right now. And
you can see it on the field.
Yeah, exactly. So especially bringing this Robert Sale guy, like we're all like, when did you ever see a fan base get so like we made videos about who can potentially be our offensive line coach? Yeah. What other fan base does that? You know?
So real quick, before anybody else responds, before this gets into panel territory, I'm definitely gonna have you guys back on both, as you know, because I'm sure you guys came on with questions, and I don't want to keep the actual callers waiting. I'm gonna have you guys back on as callers, and then for sure as a panel towards the end, because there's not that much call. So you're probably going to be back here in just a couple minutes. Going to pop you all out and then bring you guys back in. So stay tuned back there. Do not leave. Do not leave. KB, the homie, is going to stay here real quick. And I just want to say, guys, let me play this. We Need to Talk episode 2 is already out on the channel. Go check it out if you have not.
The New York Giants are in a very weird position right now in terms of the 2021
Last week's episode was on Andrew Thomas. This week's episode was on Dalvin Tomlinson. If I go back just a little bit, is it going to show Dalvin Tomlinson? Yeah, there he is. It's on this man right here, the underappreciated Dalvin Thompson. Go check it out, guys. But yeah, KB.
Man, I see you stepping up your game out there, man.
Thank you.
That's nice.
I'm gonna ask you not to continue the O-line conversation that we had going, because I want to say that for the panel. Gotcha. But unless you got another question, I'm gonna bring in the next caller.
No, go ahead, man. I'm ready.
Football Talk with Benny. Are you there?
Hey.
Yo, how's it going, guys?
What's up, man? Guys,
I like this guy, man. I like this kid.
Not much. I just did my second mock draft on my channel, so that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and yeah, that was my first what's it called? Premiere thing. So that was pretty cool to do and stuff like that. But yeah,
by the way, Benny, feel free to drop that stuff in my Discord.
Oh, I don't have Discord yet, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
I gotta get that sometime. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the Eagles and the whole Carson Wentz trade. Because I actually thought the compensation they got for him actually wasn't that bad for what I think he is worth. I actually didn't think it was horrible. I don't think it's fair to, call it horrible for them when, there's like, it's unfair when like there's only a certain amount they can get, and that's what the Colts were offering. So you can't like say, and they kind of felt like, I realized that they had to do it because it didn't sound like Carson Wentz was happy. It kind of sounded like he wasn't even talking to the team. So there's only a certain amount you can get for them. It's like the same thing with trades with the Giants, like, or anything really. Fans make it like that all the time, just like free agency where they say, oh, you should have gotten this guy. At the end of the day, not everything is your decision. Sometimes it relies on other people and, other teams and other players and stuff like that. So I think that it's not fair to blame them too much for that. But I think the bad part that a lot of people also are forgetting is the fact that the Eagles are, I believe they take like a $30 million cap hit or something like that. It's absolutely insane. It's the most in NFL history. And I feel like that is a big deal. Just because of the fact that they're already so low, like they're already way into the negative, and now they're going even more. That's a big deal. I think should be what people are. That's why they're losing the trade more. I think that's what people should be talking about.
Ben, you got a couple fans in the chat.
Yeah. Let me respond. And you make up some really good points, Benny. And to bring up the last point you just mentioned, most recently, their cap hit of $30 million. This is something that I thought was strange of why they traded him so soon, because obviously you don't know what's going to happen with Jalen Hurts, and he's not really like your surefire starter yet. And the cap hit that he was supposed to make, I believe what was his cap this year? 30 something or $25 million or something like that. I believe the difference between his dead cap and his cap hit, if he were to stay on the team, was a difference of like $1 million, something like that. Also, I was reading on Twitter. So that's why I didn't really understand why they would have traded him. But I do agree with you, Benny, when it comes to the trade compensation, that I thought it was a fair trade compensation, because the Colts would not give up a first round pick, and it
was a win-win trade in my opinion.
Right. I think it was, listen, the Philadelphia Eagles needed to dump him, right? They needed to dump him. It was getting toxic. I think that's really more so what it is. It wasn't really his play. I think it was more the toxicity there. They had to let him go. I don't think it was more of a financial standpoint there. And so and they get a second round pick and a third round pick or something like that? Or?
So it's like a third round pick and then a second round pick that could become a first round pick.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
so that's, I mean, I thought that was fair, just because they're remember, the Colts are taking on a Carson Wentz contract. Remember, this is Carson Wentz, who's never started and finished.
This is a good point as well. He did regress not only this year, but just over the course of the last 2 years.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely.
For sure. Don't get me wrong at that. And that's why he got assigned to a big contract. So the Colts are basically saying, listen, I'm not giving you a surefire first round pick or multiple first round picks for this guy. I don't care how much you paid him. Is because now we have to take on that contract, and we're also taking on a contract of a star player that has never started and finished the season in his entire career. Never has played a full season. Anytime he's made it to the playoffs, never made it out of it. His MVP season was cut short due to injury, and they won a Super Bowl without him. So I think that I'm a complete agreement with you. I think the competition was fair.
Yeah, and I think a reason why a lot of Eagles fans were upset about it was because like that report that came out that the Bears were supposedly offering 2 first-round picks or something for him. I kind of remember there was some report about that, which obviously was fake, because they would have instantly taken that. And there was also, I believe, like a report saying they wanted what the Lions got from the Matthew Stafford trade, which obviously they didn't get that much amount, which I didn't expect them to. And when this stuff came out, I'm like, there's no way they're going to get this. And then it's going to make a lot of people upset about it, because they think somehow they're going to get this because that's what they want. But that doesn't mean you get it. You know?
Yeah, if Colts fans are upset about what they, had to give up or whatever, if Colts fans are upset, or if Eagles fans are upset about what they didn't get either, like, I'm sure they probably wanted a first round pick, right?
Yeah.
They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be.
Exactly.
And the Eagles are screwed, so it's okay to laugh at them, because this Carson Wentz was something that needed to happen. Like, whether it was a toxic situation or not, his play wasn't helping. They needed to rebuild that team. He was way overpaid. They had to let him go. And yes, it kind of put them more in a dumps because of the dead cap. Eagles fans may not be happy about that, but it's something they had to do, man. They got to reset everything, because they don't even have money to pay for the guys on their team right now.
I know. It doesn't make any sense, though. Like, I don't know if anybody knows in the chat or something. Are the teams allowed to be negative in the cap like this much, like the Saints have been for years? Or is this something they're breaking
I'm pretty sure there's a luxury tax, and that's what they pay.
What it is.
Yeah.
Even though at this point there really should be a harsher punishment, because like you said, the Saints have been doing it for years.
Yeah, it's been happening for years. Yeah, and the Eagles, I mean, they just keep on pushing these contracts back and back, and like, I believe they cut a couple players recently. I think they cut Jeffrey, right? And then they cut Deshaun Jackson. I think those are
right. So they're starting to get rid of all.
They're starting to get rid of the players. I think that actually is the right move. They got to just rebuild. They can't go for they can't go for like the try to win now with Jalen Hurts thing. But I actually think they should stick with Hurts. Like, I'm not saying he's the franchise guy, but I think they should give him a chance, maybe one season.
Real quick, thank you for the correction there, Nate. He said there ain't no luxury tax. It's just the contracts get canceled. So that's good to know. But like the Saints have been negative cap for years.
But how do they know what contract to cancel?
Unless the Saints just always end up in negative cap somehow.
My thing is, how do they know what contract to cancel?
I mean,
I'm guessing what he means is the teams are forced to cancel contract or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Huh. Yeah, but I mean, there was stuff with Rams, I feel like a couple of years ago with or last year or something with Todd Gurley or something. They still haven't paid him his contract, and all these teams are just breaking the rules. And that's why I think it might not be the worst idea. I don't know exactly how it works, but people are acting like we have to go to that exact number. But, there's more ways we can kind of do other stuff I think people are forgetting about, because you can go dip in a little bit and do stuff, I'm pretty sure. I'm not saying you should go, hardcore and sign a bunch of huge contracts, but, I think you can go.
Shout out to Jaden. He won his first game in bowling.
Nice.
Great, yeah.
But I agree with you, Benny. The Eagles are kind of in, I'm happy for it, a very terrible situation right now.
But I had a huge question. I said this, remember that NFC East skit I made? Who are they paying? Who are they paying? Like, when you think of the Eagles roster, you think, oh, it's garbage. So how are they over the cap by that much? Who are they paying huge money to? Because obviously they're being paid way too much. They're being paid way too much. That team is garbage.
Yeah. And they don't really have young talent also, so it doesn't
I mean, you could ask.
my
bad, Benny. I just want to say, you could ask the same thing about the Giants. We only got like $1 million cap right now. Who are we paying, bro?
I think
that's what I'm wondering. Like,
it just updated. I believe I think we're at 8 in the green right now.
Really?
Yeah. Oh wait, really?
Over the cap.com?
On Spot Rack.
I should be
when
using
is that?
Spot Rack.
I'll check Spot Rack right now. But I was just doing. I was just checking up on it. And it had us 8 mil in the green. So.
Because for my Tomlinson vid that came out today, the We Need to Talk episode, I was using Over the Cap, and Over the Cap was like, we're like at $1 million, and I was like, whoa.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, like, who are the big contracts we have? Because I thought, honestly, when we, Eli Manning was gone, I'm like, oh, well, maybe we'll clear a lot of money, but, I mean, obviously it's stuff, but.
The biggest one off the top is James Bradbury, I think, which
Bradbury,
is understandable.
but it's well-deserved, though, so I can't, and I guess the Nate Solders, that's still, I'm sure, taking up a lot.
So that top... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ben.
No. But it's like, isn't there something with Nate Solder that if you cut him after a certain date, you save extra?
But you're really waiting until June? Like, who's going to be available?
That's what I'm saying. The Giants would not wait that long, especially do him dirty like that, man. Coming off of a year where he was forced to really, And
then it's like, even if they have a conversation with him and he understands he's going to get cut, he's like, yeah, I'm just going to retire after I get cut. It then becomes a question: who are you going to sign with 16 mil at June 1st? Who's going to be available to be signed? You're going to be really hoping a repeat of last year's offseason where there was guys like Logan Ryan and whatnot.
If he retires,
the cap is lower this year, so maybe we get some surprise cuts.
Well, if he retires, do we save money? That means, or like, say we cut him.
If he straight up just retires?
Yeah, like
if he retires, that kills us. If he retires, we gotta pay him. We gotta pay him like all the guaranteed money that he has.
I didn't realize that. I always thought that if we cut him, we would lose money, but if he retires, it's like the end of the contract.
No, we still gotta pay
that's annoying.
The guaranteed money we gotta pay. I believe the dead cap for that season we would be able to escape from, but all his guaranteed money will have to be paid out.
Oh wow. Yeah. Who do you guys?
Benny, go ahead. I was gonna say, let me get your last one before I switch you out for Logan.
Yeah. Who do you guys think? Is there any teams that we could trade back with? Because I'm not a big fan of, if the top 3 receivers are gone, trading back and getting one of those like kind of other first round type of receivers. Because I actually like a bunch of those guys. So
keep an eye on the Patriots.
Yeah, I like the
Patriots. Keep an eye on Chicago.
Oh yeah, we could get a lot of picks from that, right?
Yes, because I think Chicago's at what? 20. All right, Chicago's at 20. If they find a guy intriguing like maybe Mac Jones, he's down there, or Trey Lance, if he drops, think about those quarterbacks right there. Chicago may want to move up and grab themselves a quarterback, try to get rid of Mitch Trubisky. But that's probably the best case scenario that we can try to trade down with, and probably still pick up Rashad Bateman. But like the Patriots, look at the Patriots, like teams that need quarterbacks. I would say.
And I feel like, I hope that Trey Lance falls to us, because I've seen people, I have seen mock drafts where he falls to us. So if he falls to us, maybe we could try to create, some type of, war over to try to get that pick and go selecting, because there are a few teams that could definitely, I think, would like him. So yeah.
Agreed.
So yeah, Benny, thank you for calling in, man.
Right,
drop your channel. Yeah, no problem, man. Drop your channel link if you can in the not in the description, in the chat. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think I'm what's it called? I'm not a mod, so I don't think I can do that.
You can't put links in the.
No, you can't do that.
I think
when did they do
mod a long time ago. I think a mod might have dropped it
No,
before.
but
Might have
But
Yeah, I
dropped the
Sun-
think
link before.
Amon might have dropped it.
No, but
already.
oh, A-Mod can do it. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Because Sunday was doing
Okay.
it and Sabrina and stuff like that. So
Yeah, but
Yeah.
all good, man. Benny,
There
have
we
a
go.
good one, man.
All right, thanks for having me on.
thanks,
No
Benny.
problem. Logan, what's up, man? You got a third mock draft?
There's my guy, midlife crisis Logan.
Midlife crisis in the house, boys.
This man's depressed all the time, man. What's on your mind, Logan?
I got a mock draft that's interesting.
Oh, word. All of your mock drafts are interesting, though.
I collaborated with my dad, and he has some weird stuff here.
Okay.
I like weird.
Alright. So, first pick, Trevor Lawrence. Second pick, Zach Wilson. Now, this is where the draft really starts. Jamar Chase for Miami. Justin Fields for Atlanta. Penny Sewell, Cincinnati. This is his influence. Kyle Pitts for Philadelphia.
Please.
I would love that. I would
Detroit-
absolutely love that.
Detroit, Devonta Smith.
Okay.
Carolina, Trey Lance. Denver, Caleb Farley. Dallas, Patrick Surtain. The Giants take the player Nate hates, Jalen Waddle.
Nate hates Waddle.
Okay.
I wouldn't say he hated him. Nate was just like he wasn't sure about the slot outside thing. But I love Jalen Waddle.
I like
I'll
Jalen
go
Waddle.
anywhere.
San Francisco, Rashawn Slater.
Okay.
LA, Christian Darrisaw. Kwity Paye, Minnesota. Oh, this is the pick.
Kwity, I do want to say Kwity Paye to Minnesota is really nice.
That's perfect. This is the pick. Okay, that's gonna confuse everyone. Micah Parsons, New England.
That definitely confused me. You right there.
I had nothing.
No
to
quarterback.
I had
No
nothing to do with that.
No, just no
He is
weapon.
not claiming it.
You know what? I mean, is New England? They lost
They
what's
take-
his name, Calvin Noy last offseason.
And they take those borderline players, man. So I don't know, but they would have to find a quarterback in free agency. But all right.
J.C. Horn, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Rousseau, Las Vegas. Because let's face it, that's a Raiders pick.
Probably.
Sam Cosmi, Miami.
It is a Raiders pick. Freaking Cleveland Farrell, 4th overall.
Greg Rousseau is going to be the replacement for Cleveland Farrell.
Replacing suck with suck. Go ahead, man. Sorry.
Mac Jones for Washington. It's good.
Nice.
Rashad Bateman, Chicago. Terrace
Okay.
Marshall to replace T.Y. Hilton in Indy.
Terrace
Nice-
Marshall that
nice
high?
logo of
Oh,
his.
God.
Aziz Ojolari for Tennessee. Najee Harris for the Jets. This is a weird one. I don't think this is too early for him, to be honest. Liam Eichenberg for Pittsburgh.
Eichenberg in the first round.
Notre Dame tackles, man.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's too early, but it is early. Like, it's late first round, but it is early.
Jalen Mayfield, Jacksonville.
Okay.
Joseph Osai and Myles Garrett. That would be terrifying.
Okay.
Kadarius Toney, Baltimore. Nick Bolton, New Orleans. Alex Leatherwood, Green Bay. Atiane for Buffalo because their offense is just one-dimensional. They have almost no run game except for Josh Allen.
Wait, who is that?
Atiane.
ETN.
Oh, ETN. I was like, what the hell did you say?
Wyatt Davis for Kansas City because their interior line is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And Jalen Phillips for Tampa.
Okay. Man, I really want Jalen Phillips to fall to the second, but I'm seeing him mocked in the first round now. It's scaring me. But I wouldn't mind because I had Jalen Phillips going to the Giants in the second round pick.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I love that.
pick.
I love that Tamori and Terry pick though.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I know I probably should have flipped it around Eric Stokes and Tamari and Terry, but as far as what I was looking at on all the rankings, they had Stokes everywhere, man. They had Stokes from first round talent to second round, to third round, to fourth round. I'm like, okay, I'll just put him in the
I
fourth.
think Eric Stokes is probably the best corner that's going to be available in the second round, probably.
He is a beast, man. That dude's nasty.
Another Georgia corner.
Hey, shout out to Borden Aaron there as well, another content creator.
Borden Arrow, that's my guy right there, man. But man,
on KB's mock draft, real quick, it was pretty good. I watched it when it didn't premiere. I watched it afterwards.
Mhm.
When it came out, I love Jalen Waddle pick.
Mhm.
Love the second round pick. Of course, had to love my guy Abraham Lucas in there, which unfortunately,
you know what's funny?
Yeah.
I was like, because I was watching through all the late round tackles, and then this guy I like this guy, and I was like, wait. Let me go to the Hubs channel. I'm like, oh, he had him drafted there too. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta put him in there.
You know what's terrible now? He's not going to 6 anymore, bro. He's risen so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like people because there's even a couple of drafting sites that's called them, one like more underrated tackles. He's probably being like mocked in like the fourth, fifth ish now, which is kind of unfortunate because I was hoping he'd stay there.
I realized about an hour ago. Remember the good old days when Chuba Hubbard was supposed to go in the first round?
Yeah. I think he's a 4th round prospect now, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, you guys were saying, I remember when Owusu Koroma was supposed to be a money backer in the 3rd round.
Yeah,
he's gonna be a money backer in the first round.
Yeah, he's consistently going in the first now.
If he gets the league, he has to play safety, in my opinion.
A lot of people have been telling me that, and maybe I'll look into it more. Like the way I scout, because some people find it confusing. I don't scout like players. I scout positions by rounds because I'm scouting for my team, the Giants. So I haven't scouted guys like Koromora and whatnot. So
I haven't scouted him either, but I can tell from the eye test. You know what the NFL is transitioning to now? They're going like straight college. Like they're turning into a college league. So a lot of players that like money backer is more of a college thing, but you've seen it more and more in the league. You have a bunch of guys that came out for like Arizona's first started it, and then now everybody's been doing it. So and then obviously like Jabril Pepper sometimes plays like a money backer role or whatever the case may be. So he might be coming in and just play a money backer role like what he did in college, man. Like just straight doing that. So I don't see him being as a straight safety. He probably play the same role he did. So we'll see.
And how do you guys feel about maybe in the 3rd or 4th round that Memphis running back?
Memphis running back. I don't even know. I haven't scouted any running backs.
I forget his name, but he's really good.
I'll have to look into him. But hey, Memphis, that's where Darrell Henderson came from, I believe. So Memphis produced some good running backs.
And who would you guys draft or sign a free agency if we lose Dalvin?
If we lose Dalvin,
I don't want to lose Dalvin. Here's the thing, right?
I don't want to draft another defensive tackle, man.
Both Dalvin and Leonard Williams are going to be difficult to replace. Dalvin is easier because the guy's already here in Lawrence.
Because I would say we don't need to replace him at all. Put BJ. I think BJ Hill can start. I think he's starting caliber. Would he be probably average start to below average starter? Possibly, but I think he could start. So I would just put Dexter at nose and BJ where Dexter used to be and call it a day.
Kind of belongs, in my opinion, at nose tackle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I, for the last few weeks, or I guess you could say months, I've been a re-sign Leonard Williams guy, but I don't really care anymore, to be honest.
Really? You don't care anymore? How did that even come about?
I feel like we could clear up so much cap space, and I just don't know. He's going to be asking for 20 to 23 million, and
but here's the thing, Logan. Let me ask you something. Whether you sign Leonard Williams or not, there's going to be $20 million donated to a pass rusher. So whether it be Leonard Williams or Shaq Barrett or whoever, I don't think the Giants, if Leonard Williams straight walks, the Giants do not walk away out of free agency into the draft without a pass rusher. They don't. They're going to sign somebody. So you may probably want to save the money and not re-sign Leonard Williams, but it's going to be used for another pass rusher. I'm just letting you know.
What do you pay is what I'm thinking in the draft.
So you wouldn't sign a $20 million pass. Like, there's a lot of pass rushers in the free agency this year. You wouldn't sign one of them to decent money and just get Quiddy pay?
I don't know, man.
Because think about it. Let me list you the names. And you could, not all of these guys need to be paid $20 to $25 million, okay? Leonard Williams, obviously. Shaq Barrett. You've got, who's it? Hassan Reddick. You've got Leonard Floyd. Now everybody's escaping me. I had all the names in my head, but now they're all escaping me. But there's a couple. There's about maybe 6 or 7 pass rushers that are decent that you can sign. Would you not sign any of those guys and just go after Quiddy Pay?
I'm going to list them real quick. I don't think Leonard Floyd would fit our scheme as a 3-4 defensive lineman. He'd be a good 3-4 outside linebacker, but not 3-4 defensive lineman to replace Leo.
Well, that's why KB said pass rusher.
Well, just pass rusher in general. Yeah.
Pass rusher in general, they'd be pretty good for us. But I think Quiddy Pay would be the perfect replacement for Leo if we can't resign.
Very true.
Let me get a shout out to Mike Nixon here. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Mike. He says, you were talking about Kenneth Gainwell out of Memphis, and I would love to grab him in the 4th or 5th. Thank you for the update, man.
Mike is old. Mike knows about these late prospects, man. This goes back like 2 years ago, man. He would always send me guys like Antonio Gandy Golden. I think he would always talk to me about him, man. Shout out to you, Mike.
Saquon needs a backup that can come in 5 to 10 times a game.
Yes,
he's gonna get it, guys. He's gonna get it. Man. He's gonna get that guy.
Yeah, he's gonna get that guy, but I'm not drafting one. How about that?
Whether it's a Gallman, we somehow work something out. Whether it's a free agent, whether it's like our last pick or an undrafted free agent, he's gonna get him.
You can get a running back anywhere. Look what the Jags did. James Robinson is an undrafted rookie, and he had.
I'll say this: you can get a backup running back anywhere.
That's true.
Starting not so much, but you can get a backup running back anywhere.
James Robinson is like a 1 in 1,000 type deal.
As much as I say the running game means, I think the running game is the most important part of football, but that doesn't mean that you can't find a running back anywhere. Teams just suck at getting running back sometimes, but you can find a running back anywhere.
I'm telling these people right now, if Saquon stays healthy and we get DJ a weapon, Daniel Jones is going off next year.
I agree.
Yes, Josh Allen 2.0, dude. I'm telling you, we get ourselves. Listen, I'm telling you right now, if we somehow get, I honestly don't think we're gonna get Allen Robinson or Kenny Golladay. I don't think it's happening. Sorry, guys. So we get like a Curtis Samuel, like what Kush was saying, where he made a video about he really thinks is gonna happen. We get him. Then we bring in a guy like Jalen Waddle, because I don't think we'll land Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith. We'll get Slim Pickens of each category. So Jalen Waddle, and then we get like another wide receiver in the mid rounds, 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, somewhere around there. And then I think we'll be good, man. I think I know a lot of people don't want to double dip the wide receiver thing, but I think I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Let me hear your last thought, Logan. I got a new caller here, Frankie G, up next. So I'm gonna swipe him in next. So let me get your thoughts.
Sounds familiar.
If we lose Leo, draft Kwity Paye, and if Amon-Ra St. Brown lasts, or Nico Collins even, draft them.
And then somebody that a lot of people going crazy for, Tamori Terry.
I love, dude. I know what Nate was talking about.
Don't let Nate come on here soon now.
I'm sorry. I know what Nate was talking about. I watched the Tamori and Terry guy. I say Giants. Giants, baby. This is the guy we've been looking for. Listen, I'm sorry, but I don't need a huge tall guy to run routes. Like, I know probably the biggest knock on him is that his routes aren't very good. Yeah.
Go straight.
Go straight. He runs extremely fast for a guy his size and catches the ball well. Yeah. I don't know about that, but not as strong as him. But listen, the guy can make plays, and if we draft a wide receiver in the 1st round, then pick him up wherever he may land, we won't have to look at Tamori and Terry as being the number 1 target all the time. We have our 1st round pick, and Tamori and Terry could play a lesser role and not force targets to him. It's gonna be perfect, man. Perfect.
But yeah, Logan, thank you for calling in, man. Are you ever gonna get the Logan's Giant Zone up, or is it already up and running?
I gotta start my video, but I don't know what to do.
It's all right. Take your time. Don't rush it.
Let's be honest. DK Metcalf is Batman.
Huh?
DK Metcalf is Batman.
I'm gonna let you leave on that because that's cap.
That's cap.
Next up, Frankie G. I've never. Wow, I didn't actually remove him. There he is.
Yeah,
now.
I was like, why the hell he came back?
Frankie G is the next one. Frankie, I've never had him on channel before. He seems very excited. Let's hope this is not a troll. What's up, Frankie? How you doing?
What up, Frankie?
You're muted, Frankie.
Oh, what's up, what's up, Hub and Kid Blue?
What's going on, man?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
Good. I'm just talking Giants and just want to talk Giants with you guys.
Awesome.
For sure, man. You got any merch? I see something blue. Is that a jersey or a sweater?
It's a Daniel Jones.
All right.
Nice,
DJ.
Man. Nice.
DJ. I gotta get me one of those, man. I really do.
Yeah, I haven't
show my support. Daniel Jones apologist represent.
But yeah, Frankie, what's up? Anything in particular, or you just want to talk general Giants?
I just want to talk general Giants, really. I don't really care what we talk about.
All right, so I got a question for you based off the guy that you're wearing right now, Daniel. How you feel about Daniel Jones going into this year?
I think he's going to take a huge step up, but I actually think he will. I just feel like he could turn into, not Josh Allen, but, someone like Josh Allen, maybe. If he can just, clean up his pocket, presence and, get better in certain areas, I think he can be Josh Allen, but a little less than that. But hopefully he takes that step up.
You're talking a Josh Allen type leap.
Yeah, I hope.
I like that. He's more of a realistic fan. He's like, I don't know if he's gonna get to Josh Allen level, but Josh Allen like. Yeah. I like that.
I like how Josh Allen plays, so too.
Right.
I hope he gets that way too.
Right.
Yeah.
The first 2 seasons of their career are very, very similar to each other, man. Very, very. Just the offense has been stagnant, running game struggling, and appearing at times, but in desperate need of a wide receiver or any type of passing attack. And once he got that, he was off to the races. So I hope the same happens to Daniel Jones.
Yeah, and it'll help him with Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is going to help him a lot, I feel like.
Oh, I hope so,
because
man.
He played better with Saquon, so I feel like he could do even better with them. What do you guys like? I know it's really, really early, but if you had to say what would the Giants' record be next year, what do you guys think the Giants' record would be?
It should be better than this year.
Yeah.
It should be better than this.
Damn right.
2 main
We got
reasons.
an easy schedule this year compared to strength of schedule.
We got an easier schedule, in my opinion, and the team going into next year should be better. Like, this should be an offseason where the team gets better. There's no reason the team should get worse. So for those 2 reasons, it should be better than this year. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'll say.
I'm hoping 8-8 or better. That's what.
So Frankie, apparently there's going to be 17 games starting this season. So yeah. So that's kind of crazy.
It's happening. It's really happening.
Yeah,
so
they just did it in 2 parts. Remember, this year was the first one with 7 playoff teams. Now next year is going to be 17 games.
See, I don't like that because I like having an even number of games.
Me too.
You know what I mean? Like, I like having a team that's like
KB.
above 500, and then below 500. You know
Guess
what? I mean?
Not only that, not only just for like the win-loss split does it make sense to have an even number of games, and also like 10-6 just looks better than 10-7. But
right.
What's gonna be terrible, and I'm like, I don't know why the NFL hasn't done anything about this, is 16 out of the 32 NFL teams are gonna have 1 less home game than the other 16 teams.
Oh yeah.
Because there's 17 games, so there's gonna be 1 less home game for half of the league.
Isn't that game we play against the Dolphins though? Like that's the 17th game.
Oh, I don't know.
So how do they determine who the opponent is for that 17 game? Because you know how you have your what other 6 games just dedicated to your division, and then you play one division, another division, and then you play like the position. Like the 3rd place in the NFC West or 3rd place in the AFC East or something like that, right? So where's that other game come from? I don't know.
I know Entertainer said the Giants will play the Dolphins that game. I don't know how.
Yeah, Joel says that we get Miami for the 17th. Yeah.
How do they determine that?
And shout out to Jesse Bryan, pretty cool profile pic there. But yeah, Board and Arrow, this is what I'm asking. I'm like, because there's 17 games, half the league's gonna have 1 less home game, which is obviously unfair.
Man.
Is there a neutral site? I don't know what they're gonna do.
I really don't like. Listen, I am so OCD that just seeing those records are gonna bother the hell out of me. 11-6,
11-6, 11-5 is so much better than 11-6.
Hold on, 3-14. What? What is this, man?
Jesus.
Oh God. Pie? That's pie, man. It should be only pie, not a record for a football team. Oh God.
I'll tell you what though, Dolphins week 17 is going to be a tough matchup. That's pretty cool. The team that we compare ourselves a lot to the past couple.
I know, and I'm sorry, Josh Valencia. It's not personal, but I'm gonna whoop that ass.
But yeah, Frankie, how do you feel about it? How do you feel that there's going to be 1 less home game now, basically?
I don't like it. I like 16 games. That's I feel like that's just better. I don't like seeing 17. I feel like
man. I think
8-8.
I think that's what bothers me the most is the irregularity of it. Just seeing the records, like when you're looking at the playoff picture and week what? There will be 18 weeks then, right? Instead of week 17, it'll be 18 weeks. So in week 17, before the final game of the season, we'll be seeing what should be the final standings, like 11-5, 10-6, 12-4. But no, we still got another game to play. I won't like to see that. It would be weird.
Oh no, Bordenaro, please tell me this is a lie. But he says they're trying to get to 18. Are you trying to kill the players? Like,
well, you know they're trying to do. They're trying to do what I was talking about, evening it out.
But now we're just talking about players' health. There's a reason the NFL is only 16 games is because it takes a toll on players' bodies. You're talking about 18 games now, possibly.
Players catch a fit just playing a Thursday night game.
Mm-hmm.
Think about if they had to play an extra game on Thursday night. That'd be crazy.
But yeah,
Oh,
Frankie,
man.
what's your next question, man? I'd love for you to call in more often. The chat loves you calling in as well, man.
I've been watching your guys' channel for a while. I just don't. I get nervous like talking. So.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, man.
Doing a great job, man.
My next. I don't think so, but if the Giants had to franchise players, who do you guys think they would franchise to?
That's a good question because I don't think anybody's ever asked that.
Dalvin Tomlinson should be the only candidate, to be honest with you.
I would say Dalvin. There's no other big free agents that we are like in desperate need of trying to retain besides Dalvin and Leonard. And the only reason why I would not franchise tag Leonard is because we already did it last year. So he's just gonna go. He's gonna skyrocket. His price he probably wants to get franchise tagged again. Just to get paid more money. But I think the only guy to me would be Dalvin.
Yeah.
What about you, Frankie? You got any players in mind?
No, it was either Leonard or Dalvin, but I maybe thought there might have been like another player that I'm not thinking.
Next year, possibly. I think we got some free agents coming up next year. So like Jabril. Yeah, and if Evan somehow sticks around, if he has a fantastic season, and we franchise tag Evan Ingram.
You know what, Frank? Let me ask you about that because you smiled, man. What would you think about Evan Ingram?
He shook his head. Even the young fans hate him.
Evan Ingram, like he's basically our best weapon if he could catch the ball. Just like he's like, I feel like he's like if he could just catch the ball, you'd be pretty good on our team. But he just caused too many turnovers this year.
I completely agree. I'll tell you right now, if Evan Ingram caught the ball half the times that he dropped it, I guarantee you he will be up there with Travis Kelce and Gronkowski and all that stuff as being one of the best tight ends in football, because that guy, just thinking about him, what his ability, his potential, he can dominate a game. He can really do that. He has that potential. The guy just can't hold on to the ball. So yeah, and he's been a real big issue as far as Daniel Jones goes. I'm surprised Daniel Jones doesn't. I don't know if he feels some type of way towards him, but he keeps throwing him the ball.
You know how I know Daniel doesn't? Because Eli dealt with that for years, and Eli never really said it.
That's true, especially with Ruben Randall. You guys remember? Yeah. I loved Ruben Randall. He reminds me a lot of Evan Ingram because he had so much potential. He just always caused turnovers. He ran the wrong routes, would drop the ball, would fumble pop the ball up, and all that stuff. But yeah, I completely agree with you, Frankie. He has so much potential. He's just can't hold on to the ball.
Frankie, let me get your last thoughts, man, before I pop you out.
Just love your guys' channels, and thanks for having me on.
No problem, Frankie. Great supporter, man. Like, hey, call in next week, bro. Bring in some good questions.
I will.
Call in next week. Have a good one, Frankie.
Have a good one, man.
See ya.
We're going to pop back in the panel here, the fellow creators. But first things first, Noah Rivera had a pretty interesting comment. He said, if the Giants take someone no one wants, like Greg Rousseau, I actually think Giants fans would murder Dave Gettleman, to be honest. And if Smith, Waddle, or Pitts are on the board, that would be the cherry on top.
Oh, man. Listen, forget about Pitts. I don't even know why the hell you brought that up. But Waddle and Smith. If Waddle and Smith are there and the Giants elect to go with Greg Rousseau, we're rioting. And I'm a Dave Gettleman apologist. I will march from Florida straight to freaking the Meadowlands, man. Not joking.
Shout out to Calvin, local Cardinals fan in here. He says, great job, Frankie. Unlike your Giants, my Cardinals resemble an inert high school science experiment. Best of luck to your Giants. The thing is, though, Calvin, you guys have a lot of potential.
And here's the thing, Calvin. You guys are trying to shift the NFL. Like, you're trying to be pioneers in the NFL, and for the most part, it's working. But you're going to see a lot of times where you fail, like you did this season. That's not to be discouraged about it. It's not going to. Remember, you guys are trying to pioneer something totally different, man. Like Cliff Kingsbury, like, is bringing in like a whole different like college football offense, and trying to get Kyler Murray adjusted to that and doing everything their way. So listen, man, they're gonna fail, all right. They're gonna fall, but they'll be all right. I like the Cardinals. They're definitely. We were on the same level when we drafted our quarterbacks. I think we were on the same level, and they just went over us. So you guys are on better track than we are right now, in my honest opinion.
Shout out to Mike. Thanks for $2 super chat. He says, "Yo, let me join this panel." I mean, well, when
What
you
up,
ask like
Mikey
that,
Mike?
sure, he hopped back in. I'll hop back in. Join back a little later. Let me get the guys back on here. Big Pat, Nate, Rob, and then somebody that just popped in, and now we got a 6-man tag team match here.
Who we
Big Boy in
got
the
here?
Bronx, Alex. What's up?
Hey, what up, man?
So you know what? I guess I'll go from Big Pat,
Big Blue, what's good?
to Rob to Nate. What do you guys think about Frankie was talking about and the franchise tag Dalvin Thompson if you would put it on anybody and whatnot?
We wouldn't have to put the franchise tag on Dalvin Thompson because he's already came out and said that he wants to be a Giant. So franchise tagging will actually give him more money than what he would actually be asking for. So that wouldn't make sense. Great question though, but it wouldn't make sense. If they're going to franchise anybody, it's going to be Leonard Williams because Dave Gettleman does not want to lose his hog molly that he traded for.
I disagree with that because the Leonard Williams franchise tag will be $23 million.
No, remember it comes down.
No.
I saw somewhere it was 19.8.
It goes up from what it was the previous year. This year, the franchise tag in general will come down.
Right, yeah, and since the franchise tag in general is going to come down, it's not going to be up where you think it is.
It's still more than what we were paying him last year. Why would you pay him more money at that point? Give him the extension
because $18 million. He's probably going to be asking for like $22 million. Reports now he's asking almost the exact like Aaron Donald money, and that's going to be crazy. I don't know how you pay him that, but that's what he's asking for.
I would rather extending him rather than franchise tagging him again.
I have it right here. It's $19.3 million on a franchise tag this year.
Is that the second year franchise tag or the first year one? Okay, then.
Second year.
Snap.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, yeah, go ahead, guys. You could give your thoughts on that. I guess Alex, you're next then.
That's interesting.
So to be honest, I would not franchise tag. How much is the franchise tag for a defensive tackle? Like 16 million, 17 million, something like that?
Yeah, but see, he's wanting to be franchised as a defensive end, which he is really not. He's a 3-4 defensive end, but he's really a defensive.
I thought he was talking about Dalvin there.
Oh, he's talking about Dalvin?
That's what I was trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about Dalvin.
With Dalvin, I believe it's like 16.
I think it went down. It was 16.2 last year. I think it went down a little bit. So like
bottom line here being that it's going to end up being more than we'd pay him if we actually just sign him to a long-term deal. So it doesn't make any sense.
I
mean, he said that he was going to be like, he said that like in the beginning he was going to take the hometown discount, and then there were rumors a couple of weeks ago that he was going to be, commanding $10 million, $11 million. And to be honest with you, and I kind of talked about this, was that Giants, once he came out and said that he was taking, the hometown discount just to stay with the Giants may have lowered the price to maybe, I don't know, 7, 9, 10 million, and maybe would have prioritized Leonard Williams. And now that Tomlinson raised his price, then maybe what they expected a little bit, maybe he walks, but I would not franchise tag him.
Well, I think the value of a defensive tackle, the top value of defensive tackle, I imagine that's how much he wants to get paid, is around like 12 right now. Because I think Snacks, so all that in 2016, Snacks was paid 14. So, I think I would pay Dalvin 12.
Yeah, I think
that's right around what I would pay him too.
Yeah, for me, the thing for Dalvin is that, and I know Hub just did a video on him, Dalvin is so underappreciated, and it really just bothers me in this fan base. And one of the things is, this does also rub me the wrong way a little bit, is that we, and I am guilty of this as I was just now, we say our fan base as if every other fan base doesn't do the same stupid crap Giants fans do. But fans in general.
Oh, what happened in the box?
He probably some internet or something, yeah.
But just fans in general, there it is. Fans in general just do not appreciate nose tackles or defensive tackles in general that really do a great job at their position because it's not flashy. You don't see them on highlight reels, but what they do is invaluable to defenses, especially a defense like ours that is run first, making sure we can stop the run and then working back from there, building out from the trenches. If you don't have someone like Dalvin Tomlinson that is consistent and does not get beat off the ball and always pushes the pocket, you're not going to be able to build your house without that foundation. It's just not going to work. So again, the thing about the Giants situation is a little bit unique, is that they've built their defensive line a little bit differently with multiple guys that could be defensive tackles and 2 that could be nose guards, obviously Dexter Williams being the other one. And he could slide in there and we could get BJ Hill to take Dexter's spot, et cetera, et cetera. We've already talked about this. But the point is it a downgrade? Yeah. So when I look at that, I think if we're going to do that to save money, the only way I can justify it is if we're taking that money and putting it into something else that we also need. That's just how I look at this. It's the same things with Leonard Williams. If we're not going to pay him, we have to be doing it for the sake of investing that money somewhere else. And I always say this, whenever people say let Leonard Williams walk, we can't pay him that much, we are in between a rock and a hard place here. What is the alternative? We have just been in the worst possible year to have to make a decision on this guy. There's nobody in the draft, and basically nobody in the draft.
Yeah.
There's nobody in free agency that's really a fit for us. I mean, we can talk about Carl Lawson's upside all we want. He's not going to fill that role ever. So we're looking at Leonard Williams, and we're thinking, who's the guy out there that's going to take his spot? Is it BJ Hill? Doubt it. So I just look at this, and I think we kind of have to re-sign Leonard Williams, and all we can do is hope that we can negotiate him under $20 million.
Shout out to AP for the $5 super chat. He said this dude Nate looked like he pulled an all-nighter on scouting. Is that true?
Nah, just an all-nighter fighting my battles with life. That's what it is.
So I got a pretty interesting.
Felt that on a very hard level.
Yeah, KB actually was not far from just getting off of work when he came into the stream. I got a question for you guys. I'm gonna start off with Rob because Rob is just chilling there in the middle. So one of the points I brought up in my Down Thompson video today was that the Giants historically have been just really good with drafting second round guys. You know, Michael Strahan, OCU Menura, Amani Toomer, Tiki Barber. The list goes on and on and on. Corey Webster, and we used to be able to retain those guys. Down Thompson, right? We used to be able to retain those guys because, well, they were good players. We retained the good players that we drafted, and just so happened all of them were in the second round. At some point within the past 10 years, that kind of changed. Like, you know, we let Linval Joseph walk. Landon Collins, he was a really good player for us, and even though he got extremely overpaid, the point is we let him walk, right, for basically nothing. Our second-round players have just been walking left and right. When Joe Judge came in, he says he wants to go back to that winning culture. Well, part of that was keeping the good players. So what do you think about that? I'm going to start with Rob.
Yeah, in terms of defensive tackles, the Giants have done this the last few times. Like you mentioned, Linval Joseph and even Jonathan Hankins, they let him walk. So that's why I have a fear that they might let Tomlinson go. I've always thought it's going to be one or the other between him and Leonard Williams. And I've always been leaning towards Tomlinson because, like Nate said, he's always so consistent and he's very underappreciated. Where Leonard Williams was great this year, and ideally we get them both back. But yeah, I think if you want to keep this whole thing together, what the Giants have been building, then best case you try to do whatever you can to get both of them back. But to answer your question about, you know, we've always had like good second round picks, and this is not a Gettleman guy, but you can tell that Gettleman wants to keep him because he would have let him go by now. So I really think they have to bring him back because it's hard to find a player that does what he does so consistently yet doesn't get the recognition.
Before the next person goes, real quick, shout out to Frosty for the $1 super chat. And to add on to that, what I was saying about us letting go of our second round guys, what message would that send to defensive players? This is another thing I mentioned in that we need to talk episode. Dalvin is somebody that's balled out all 4 years consistently, hasn't missed a game yet due to injury or anything else for the Giants. Been like a great Giant on and off the field because you don't hear anything about him off the field. And he wants to stay with a team that for the entirety of his career has been a sorry losing franchise. So what do you think that says to the fellow players in the locker room if they kind of just let him walk? Go ahead, guys. Anybody could go.
What it says is it's a business.
Yeah.
NFL is always a business, man. If that man prices himself out, what can you do?
And I think that's one thing. A lot of people. Sorry, you paused when you were talking. I thought you were done.
And like how Nate said, we're in a rock and a hard place because I believe we need both these guys back. If we keep both those guys, our defense is going to be good.
Agreed. And I think when it comes to all these things, what does it say, what does that say to the player? What does all that stuff say to the locker room? I think we as fans, and I guess I'll put big quotation marks around this one, analysts tend to sort of overrate the impact these things have, just because like you can see in every possible case, whenever this stuff ends up making some sort of scene in the media, there's always stuff behind closed doors. 90% of this stuff that actually impacts what the players are thinking and actually impacts the relationship is happening like behind closed doors. We're not privy to that. We don't understand the conversations that ownership and management have with these players, how the coaches have say in that, what sway they hold. So I think when you talk about what does that say to other defensive players in the league that want to sign, other defensive players in the locker room, what does that say to Jabril Peppers? I think it says that nobody is everything to this team. Nobody is so untouchable that they're going to be a Giant for life. And that's part of running a healthy organization. Unless you're a quarterback in this league, you just can't be that attached. You look at how the Patriots ran their dynasty when they were on top of the world. They weren't too attached to just about anybody that wasn't named Tom Brady or Rob Gronkowski. It just wasn't a thing that they were super, super tied down to. And I think when you want to look at running an effective organization, it kind of just has to be that way. And none of our players, let's be real here, none of our players are incredible superstars at this point. Nobody on this team is so incredibly good that to let them walk under any circumstances would be a huge mistake. There's nobody like that on this team. So when you talk about sending a message, I don't really care. If we're going to make the smart move here, that's what we need to do. If that smart move happens to be letting Dalvin Tomlinson walk, so be it.
Yep.
Shout out. Oh yeah,
you can go about it.
Shout out to Frosty for the $2 super chat. He says, love the hub. But you know what? I love you and I love all my supporters, Frosty. You guys make it completely enjoyable to do this. Shout out to Authentic in the chat as well.
What's up, man?
Who did not speak on that one point? KB, go ahead. I think you didn't get to speak on that yet.
I mean, pretty much what everybody else was saying. You know, at the end of the day, it's a business. And, I mean, if he – like, we'll see what happens with the hometown discount thing when it comes to Dalvin Tomlinson, because at the end of the day, I don't know, for whatever reason, you see that in the NFL a lot. Like, players reportedly want the hometown discount, but when it's all said and done, they wind up leaving their teams anyway. I mean, it happens all the time. I think that same thing happened with Justin Tuck back in, 2014 when he left or something like that, and he went to the Raiders. He wanted a hometown discount, and they wound up giving him disrespectful money. He went to the Raiders. So, you know what? It all depends what happens with that. But I mean, it doesn't really say much, but it's a business. That's it.
And Alex,
wanted to add on to that. Like Nate was talking about, obviously with the locker room and everything, and you know what a message it sends. As Pat said, it's like a business. It works both ways, because you could say, you know, obviously Nate's point about, you know, obviously what it sends to the locker room if a team doesn't bring a player back. It also sends a message if that player prioritizes money over staying with the team and being a part of the great locker room. And something I also want to add in, you know, despite what I said, I am, you know, Dalvin's one of my favorite Giants right now, and I would love to bring him back. And defensive tackle, I guess, if you're not Aaron Donald, you know, if you're not an interior defensive lineman like him, you are extremely underappreciated, because those are by far, and this is not even, you know, debatable, the most double-teamed linemen on the defensive front. And, you know, I think there was something else that came out this year, and everybody, you know, recently has been on Giants Twitter talking about, you know, the Leonard Williams subject. Oh, he didn't do this in the Arizona game. He didn't do this in the Arizona game, you know, and they're talking about other games where he disappeared. And someone brought it up, or at least brought up the picture. The most double team defensive tackles in the NFL, Dalvin Tomlinson, I believe, was on that list. Yeah. So I do
want to bring up that, not to take away from Blake Martinez, and there's like, you know, you can obviously go watch film on this. A good amount of Blake's, you know, good tackles for losses, and even, you know, a couple sacks that he got were because DT was out there eating up the inside and getting double teamed.
I mean, that's what it is. They do the dirty work for your defense. Let's just call it what it is.
That's what they do. Look at Haloni Nada with Ray Lewis. It's the same thing.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's a great
massive fact.
If you got a defensive tackle that commands a double team, your linebackers can move freely throughout the defense. So,
and look at what Blake Martinez was saying on Twitter.
I mean, I don't know, man. We in rocking a hard place with these two guys, man. But I'd rather have Dalvin back than Leo. I'm just gonna say that right now.
It's a fair point to make.
Yeah, honestly, in my opinion, you can't go wrong with either one, whichever you want back more. I just hope we could get both of them back somehow.
Yeah, I think for me, it's kind of like I compare it to the whole argument, what should the Jets do at number 2? There's no opinion here that I'll be mad at. Like, no, unless you come in and tell me that you don't want either of them back, then I'm just going to tell you to get the hell out. But if you take a side one over the other, I can't be mad at it. Both of them have their place, and both of them deserve to be back on this team. I just wish we could get both.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, but like everyone's been saying, it's difficult. We don't know the cap situation. We don't know how much we're going to have. Who's going to want what money? Will Dalvin take a discount? Will Leonard Williams maybe take a discount, saying, I want to be here, but I also want he wants to get his money. He deserves it. Deserves to get big money. But maybe he'll take a little bit less if it means coming back to a place where he's been outstanding since we got him. So it's a lot to dissect about all of it. We just have to wait and see how it goes.
And that gets back to what Big Blue in the Bronx was saying, which was on point, which was at some point these guys are going to make decisions. Do they want their money more or do they want to win more? And that's how a lot of these teams operate.
I do know how we could get both of them back, though.
Do
tell. Be an unpopular opinion, but if you want both of them back, you got to cut Zeitler.
Yes, what I've been saying.
Hell yeah.
Cut Zeitler, that saves you $14 million.
It's a give and take.
12 million, I think.
Really a give and take.
Here's the thing with Kevin Zeitler. Here's the thing, and I was thinking about making a video about this too, because it's such an interesting conversation, because there are good intentions on both sides, right? There are people who want to cut Kevin Zeitler because, I'm sorry, you look at Kevin Zeitler's contract and how good it is, and like you can't miss that opportunity. $2.5 million of dead cap on a $14 million contract. Are you kidding me? I'd probably take that with most any players that are getting past their primes. So it's just hard not to do it, but at the same time, is it the right move to do? Because we're really in a bad spot in our offensive line right now, where we need all the help we can get on the offensive line. But at the same time, you look at a $14 million contract, and you have a $2.5 million dead cap. That is it. You save like $12 million. Forget about when you cut him June 1st. You don't care. It doesn't matter. $12 million right there. So that's something that is so hard to resist from, man, because I just want to do it, but I'm afraid that I'm going to regret it.
Real quick, I want to say, Authentic said I have a weird feeling Devontae is going to be there at 11. Me and Authentic went back and forth.
Your weird feeling is our hope, my friend.
We went back and forth on Twitter a couple of weeks ago, just kind of clowning each other about how, as content creators, we love to say sometimes, I've been saying this, I've been telling y'all. Well, Authentic, I've been telling y'all since January 13th, when was my first mock draft, that Devontae is going to be there at 11, man. January 13th. There's going to be one wide receiver there at 11. There's no way all three are going to be gone.
And that's what I've been saying forever, is that there is no goddamn way that all three of these guys are going to be off the board by the time we pick at 11.
It
just doesn't happen.
Yeah,
but
it hasn't happened.
I don't think you could name me 5 drafts in the history of the league that saw 3 wide receivers go.
I think there's only been 2 in history. Or
has there? It's just not a thing that happens. And then you look at all the teams that need quarterback and all of the quarterbacks that could end up being picked up there. There is just no way that we're going to get up to the board and there's going to be none of these wide receivers left. At the end of the day, if the Giants want one, he'll be there.
You know what the only thing that sucks is? The lack of defensive lineman talent in this draft, because the volume is going to be so high with other positions. That's the only thing that scares me about this being a potential year. 3 wide receivers drafted higher. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm not saying it's not possible, just because you look at all of these other drafts. You can go back any draft you want to. You at least got like 4 or 5 pass rushers gone in the top 15. You may not get one by like pick 15. You may not get one. I mean, Kwity Paye is probably your best option. Maybe you want to go. I'm sorry, Greg Rousseau. There's no way when it's all said and done, Greg Rousseau. It's not happening. It's not happening. No team is going to be that stupid.
Goes in the top 15. I'm applying for the GM.
Yeah, Greg Rousseau. Greg Rousseau is AJ Epinesa of last year. Okay,
I gotta say,
I even like AJ Epinesa better than him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Epinesa was like mocked as high as like the Giants.
Sure.
You know, all the way up there, and then now
second round, I think, right?
To the second round. Yeah, he falls to the beginning of second round. So that's where I think Greg Rousseau is going to have.
And quick note here. Sorry, this will only take a second. Mm-hmm. We were talking about what we think the picks ahead of us are going to do, and I will say, I said this earlier in the stream, if there is one true benevolent God, he will let me be sitting on my couch looking at my TV and hear the words, with the 6th overall pick, the Eagles select Trey Lance, quarterback out of North Dakota State University.
Man, I want them
Just
to take Trey
let it
Lance.
happen. Please, God, let it happen.
Well, what about Kyle Pitts? Did you let
Before we get off to another
I'd rather
tangent,
them take Trey Lance, because Kyle Pitts might go off against us.
before we get off to another tangent, guys,
Hurts.
I gotta do this. Shout out. They were clowning. Well, not clowning. They were joking with me. I love the chat. They were joking with me earlier about the Manscaped thing, but I do have to do it now. Shout out to Manscaped.
Support for the Hub is brought to you by Manscaped, who's the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technological developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide, and I got an exclusive offer for you guys, 20% off plus free shipping with the code HUB, H-U-B. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code HUB, H-U-B at manscaped.com. The best team in the NFL are...
Get off. That was from the Dalvin Thompson video. That's why Dalvin was shown right after. I'm going to pop in Mike Nixon real quick. Mike, can I even add him? Okay, I got to remove. So I'm going to remove myself. No, I'm kidding.
No. I volunteer as tribute. I've been talking too much anyway.
All right, Nate, it's all good. I'm going to add you back in anyway. Mike has been in here for a while. Mike, I could only give you like 5 minutes, bro. So let's get it. Are you there?
What's up, good?
What's up, Mike?
What up, KB?
Long time no talk. Man.
I agree. I agree with everything y'all been saying. I don't want to franchise nobody this year. I don't. As much as I love Dalvin, we can't overpay him. You know what I mean?
Well, what would you consider overpaying him?
The franchise tag.
Yeah, like $15 million. I agree with that. I probably wouldn't franchise tag him either. $15 million. So
what do you think about a contract in the 10 to 13 range then?
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I like that. And about Zeitler, I'm with you, KB. It's like I want to do it, but he's our best. He's our best
lineman. I know it's so tempting though. When you look at it, if you pull up his I was looking at everybody's contracts, all the New York Giants contracts on Spot Rack, and just going through random ones, and I'm like Kevin Zeitler, man. I'm like, that's so tempting. I just cut.
So I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you this, and I'm gonna go around the panel. I'm gonna start with Big Pat because he was the one that brought up the idea. So credit to Big Pat. What if we cut Zeitler to free up that space, and then we managed to re-sign both of our defensive linemen, and then say in the 3rd round we take a guard, like a really high guard that might have slipped, or just somebody in the 3rd that could be a good starter for us. How would you feel about that then? But that probably means, say, we don't use that 3rd rounder on a second weapon or something like that. How would you feel? Big Pat, let me start with you.
That's a tough decision, man, because I really like Zeitler, man. He saved us line last year.
I agree with you there.
The only way that would be a good idea if my boy Lemieux can actually step up and be a good pass blocker. If he steps up and be a good pass blocker, that would be the best decision the Giants have made in a long time. Now you bring back Williams and Dalvin. Lemieux steps up, and now you can use that 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round pick to bring the weapons that Dave Gettleman said he wants to bring DJ. So it really that move really depends on if Shea Lemieux and Will Hernandez are your guards.
Okay, Rob.
Big Pat just hit the nail on the head right there, man. It all depends on what we get out of Hernandez and Lemieux, specifically with Hernandez, because what's he going to his 4th year now? So we really have to see if this is the year that he can be that guy that they want him to be. He was pretty good his 1st year, kind of took a step back in his 2nd year, and we didn't get to see too much of him last year for unforeseen circumstances. But if he can get back to his rookie season the way he played, and if Lemieux can step up, like Pat said, then cutting Zeitler just makes all the sense in the world. to bring back those two guys, and then you can use the picks on the weapons that you need. You can, get a guy in the first round, and then maybe third or fourth round, you can get a guy like Tamari and Terry, who I've been talking about I know Nate's been talking about. So yeah, if you have to cut Zeitler and you can get those two guys back, it's probably something you have to do, but it all has to do with Hernandez and Lemieux. What are they going to bring you?
Frosty, I hope you didn't actually do this, but that's kind of hilarious and terrible if you did. He wanted to call in again. I'm not gonna have any more call-ins tonight, but bro, I got you a spot for the next call-in show next week Tuesday. So don't worry about it. Just come back in the chat next Tuesday and slide in, and you got it, bro. But go ahead, Alex.
Okay, so first, even though it's not really related to Frosty, I'm surprised, or at least I haven't seen, Kush, that your old buddy that we were talking about the other day hasn't shown up. I mean, I'm not surprised. But nonetheless, it is a tough spot, like KB said. And I really wish, and it's not happening, that this backup offensive guard class, like there was a backup offensive tackle class. I'm not talking draft. I'm talking free agency. Like you got Kendall Lamb, you got Joe Haig from the Buccaneers. You have a couple of backup offensive tackles you could go
Forrest
for.
Lamp.
Forrest Lamp.
He's in
True. But in my opinion, I just don't really see that. Like the only guard I could probably point out that I would at least want is he's somewhat versatile. His name is Austin Blythe from the Rams. He started at center this year, so he's kind of versatile in that. But he's flip-flopped years. In 2017 he was bad. 2019 he was bad. But when the Rams offensive line was good, he was good. I definitely wouldn't mind doing what the Saints did this year, which was, they cut Larry Wofford and they drafted Cesar Ruiz in the first round. And everyone's like, well, he played center. They moved him over to right guard. So it's definitely an interesting topic. I would definitely, in my opinion, I'm at least leaning towards cutting Zeitler just to fill those needs. But you definitely need that veteran presence in there. And if you bring in, a backup offensive guard, maybe to replace Zeitler, not as like a locker room presence, but, just as a veteran presence so that Lemieux could, have a little more time and have a little more, I don't know, just to learn off somebody like Austin Blythe or someone else, I would be fine with that.
But yeah, Mike, let me get your last question for tonight, man.
I basically agree with what they are saying, and that it all depends on Lemieux and Hernandez. If hope to God Lemieux can step up and pass block, then I wouldn't mind cutting Zeitler and maybe drafting a guard in the third round.
Okay. Yeah, like I'm saying, that could it completely depends on what we already have, right?
Yeah.
And Mike, is there any, since you were kind of talking about backup running backs earlier in the chat as well, is there anybody else other than the guy out of Memphis that you know about that you might want?
Puka Williams out of Kansas. He's more like a 6th, 7th round pick. So I'll be happy if we got him in the 6th round.
Diggy been talking about Puka Williams as well, man. Enlighten us. What about Puka gets you excited?
I just like his running style, Mm-hmm. He's just a great runner, and I like him.
Okay. Anybody got anything to say on Puka Williams or what was the guy's name out of Memphis?
Kenneth Gainwell.
Would you, or even I'm gonna throw in another name there that I've looked at, Elijah Mitchell.
That's what I wanted to bring up.
I like Elijah Mitchell.
Yep.
I like Elijah Mitchell.
Out of Louisiana, right?
I think so, yeah. I was very close. I'll tell you right now. I was very close putting him in my second mock as like our last pick because I think he's gonna be there in the 6th. But I didn't do it just because I'm like, man, I still need to use this last pick on this one other spot. But yeah, I was so close, man. I like him a lot, Elijah Mitchell.
Cool.
Oh, nobody got thoughts on Elijah Mitchell, bro. That's how it really is.
Just one quick thought, I guess. What's been the thing since Gettleman's been here? Familiarity. Who was his offensive coordinator at Louisiana? Rob Sale.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
exactly.
Perfect sense.
That's the reason I started looking at him in the first place, actually. And and also because what Rob said was famous for at Louisiana when he was their OC was having a stellar run game. So there you go.
Yep.
But Mike, your last thoughts, my guy. By the way, the Knicks lost, unfortunately.
I was just looking at
Julian All-Star, man.
Please don't remind me that they lost.
Yo, Julius earned that All-Star spot.
He's a freaking All-Star, man.
He did. He did.
Earned it. He earned it.
I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy.
Julius 100% earned it, man. In my opinion, he's been like a top 20 player in the league this year.
Hey, Rob, if y'all don't win the championship,
because Rob's a Nets fan.
Trust me, I know.
You're gonna get a video out of this world from me.
By the way, guys, I've been tweeting on Twitter. We got to speak it into the existence together. We got a LeVar Ball. What I'm about to say, we got to put a LeVar Ball. The Knicks will beat a 7th seed in the playoffs and knock out the Nets in the first round. We got to speak it into existence.
Let's do it.
Hopefully.
We gotta speak it
Well,
into
I mean, I
existence.
hope they even make the playoffs. They're 15 and 17 right now, man. They're in a good spot.
They're in a good spot to make it as like the 8th seed, yeah.
Yeah, but damn, can you win more games than you lost? Jesus.
Well,
these for you, man.
Yeah.
Well, if we make it in as the 8th seed, that means we won the play-in tournament.
Oh, there's the
Are
play.
they doing that again?
They're doing it again?
The what?
Yeah.
The play-in game,
The
basically.
play-in-
They did it last year for the bubble.
But this time I believe it's the 8th, 9th, and 10th seed.
Damn.
I believe.
Yo, Frosty is
Frosty
bro.
Frosty just shot his shot, man.
Right.
My man Frosty going for it. He's like, listen, I've been in the chat long enough. You've been in the chat long
That is
enough. I think we know each other at this point. Let's
Frosty
make it
really
happen.
said, bro, you missed all the shots that you don't take, bro. That's
He's gonna steal his mother's credit card again.
Bro, Kobe mentality, bro.
He's gonna take her on a date.
Oh, we're just waiting for Sabrina's answer.
I want to say one thing though.
What's up?
All the Daniel Jones people that killed Daniel Jones, y'all do know that this man has had the least amount of weapons in the league probably since he's
Facts.
I think they more than know that, to be honest.
Yeah.
The only weapons that he's actually have been hurt.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's on the front office, man. The roster management was pretty bad.
Yo,
for the wide
wait a minute.
receiver
I was just wondering, is it still a stat? Like, is it still a thing that he's never had all his weapons healthy on the field at once in one game?
I was just about to ask about that.
Because I remember. Okay, then.
No, it hasn't because
no. Remember, Saquon Barkley got hurt that second game.
Tate was out the first game.
Tate was out in the first game, though.
Tate was out the first game.
So he's never had all his weapons.
No, but
Tate,
Chicago game.
And
Chicago game, he had them.
Chicago.
And then Barkley, so
then Barkley went down.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Barkley gets hurt. He tears his ACL that game. So he's only
he
had
him
all
for
his
a split
weapons
second.
For half a quarter.
That is so trash, man. Jesus.
So my eyes are really not on Daniel Jones this year. I want him to progress. If they get him weapons like they say they do, then my eyes will shift back to Daniel Jones. But my eyes are on Saquon Barkley.
And that's why I've said, by the way, I said it before, and I see Dylan Renner in the chat saying it as well. In my opinion, in a perfect world, Daniel just stays here his entire rookie contract, and we try to do something with him his entire rookie contract. Unfortunately, in the real world, in the situation that we're in, it's going to come down to his third year. But I would love
New York media.
Yeah, if it's a perfect world, he stays here his rookie contract, and we try to build around him for the 4 or 5 years that he's here. But that's not going to happen.
Saquon Barkley, I love the guy, but he's actually been holding us back, staying hurt the way he has.
It's only 2 out of 3 years, Pat. Come on now. I'm gonna say the same thing. It's only 2 out of 3 years.
Hold on. Now you want to get me started, man.
So look.
Saquon's not injury. Okay, it's unfortunate that in his third year he tore his ACL, but he only missed 3 games last year.
Preseason.
Yeah, and he played a full season his rookie season. He missed only 3 games last year and missed this season with a torn ACL. It's not injury prone. That's just
if he gets hurt again this year.
If he get all right, yeah. if the man tears his ACL again next year, then we could say he's injury prone.
Yeah,
but I
have no trade value if we try to get rid of him. That's what's gonna be the messed up part.
I agree, but here's the thing that I don't think he's holding us back. Because like KB said, he missed 3 games and he still gave us 1,000 yards on the ground with a pretty bad offensive line. Like he's helped us. Yeah, next year, if it's another injury, then it's like you really, you know what, this dude is actually a detriment to the team.
Yeah, I get his mindset because he said because best ability is availability, but same time when he's on the field, he's.
I'm saying if he gets hurt again, he'll be holding us back. That's what I'm saying. If he gets hurt again,
Mike, let me get your last thought, bro.
I believe Saquon will come back like AP did.
I think he's gonna come back better, in my opinion. Just because of advances of medicine in the past 10 years.
So you're telling me that Saquon's gonna win the MVP next year?
No. I'm talking health wise. I'm not talking like.
Oh well, AP. Okay, because AP won the MVP that year.
Yeah, he did.
Let me clarify. I'll say come back as in like 1,500 yards rushing, about 500 yards receiving.
Yo, make that 600.
And
700.
Huh?
I'd say 600 yards receiving.
600 yards receiving.
A lot of dump offs. It's a lot of dump offs.
Hey, let's not act like Saquon can't actually play like slot wide receiver.
I know, but if we prioritize that wide receiver position like we're supposed to, he better not have 600 receiving yards.
I wouldn't mind.
And
I wouldn't mind it.
I would love for man.
Let Mike talk. There you go.
And he'll have about 15 total touchdowns.
Okay.
Like that.
All right, Mike. I love it, man. Thank you, Mike, for calling in the second time, bro.
No problem, Mo.
Have a good one, man.
KB, stay true to yourself and keep drinking that crane grape.
You know, it's funny. I just bought more yesterday, so yeah, I'm stocked up. Yeah, I'm stocked up, man. But I appreciate that, Mike. Stay true to yourself too, man.
Peace out, Mike. Have a good one.
I must say, Frosty's gonna be dreaming about Sabrina.
I'm gonna say real quick. Good night, Frosty. I will say since he asked her that question, Sabrina's been missing in chat.
Yeah, she has not been.
She's ducking him, bro.
Yeah, I think that tells you something, Frosty. You gotta move on, buddy.
Sorry,
absolutely gone, bro.
Yeah, I will say before we move on from this Saquon thing, just in terms of a player like him being injury prone, first off, I think it's too early to call that. Just in my opinion, but there is something to be said for players like him that are just a whole new breed of explosive. So any of y'all that are baseball fans out there, probably not many, but any that are, hey, let's go. I got a couple on the panel. But you all know that in recent years, there's been a really big increase in Tommy John surgery. And that's because a lot of these pitchers are throwing a whole lot more heat, a lot more regularly. There was a great documentary about this a while ago called Fastball that broke down how these ligaments work. And it is the same thing with ACL tears. When you look at a back like Saquon Barkley, and he's putting himself in this big risk because he's making huge cuts every single play, every rep he has the ball in his hands, he's going to put himself at higher risk for that. Is he getting unlucky that it's still happening this early in his career? Hell yeah. Should we be super concerned about it? No. But should we be surprised if he has some sort of issue with it again? Probably not. Because you see this stuff all the time. These ligaments can only take so much wear and tear. And Saquon Barkley, we know, loves to play hero ball. We know he gives it 110% every rep. We know he's a gym rat, and he's putting in a lot of force on these joints. If there's a guy like that, who's a whole new breed of every play explosive, and we're trying to use him like we're trying to use him, stuff's going to happen. That's all there is to say.
I completely agree with Nate here because this is something you could look at a general level across all sports. Athletes just get better and better with each generation. They get a lot better than the previous generation. They get a lot more athletic and freakish is the word we love to use with each generation. That's why you know NBA players say all the time, like the athletes that are playing now would kill it in the old league, like athletically speaking. Like, you know, was it Tracy McGrady, I think, that said like the point guards in today's league would just cross up everybody if they were to play like 10, 15 years ago. They would be amazing. It's just the fact that athletes get better with
And
time.
you're
It's
seeing,
almost
you're seeing all these
yeah,
tears, all
exactly.
these ACLs going.
It's almost like seeing evolution before your eyes.
Running backs. That's why they only last so long.
I'm gonna say one thing on Saquon. He's the type of player you have to save him from himself.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. He always tried to put everybody on his back.
If they put it into his mind, that's why I said what I said the last time we were on here. If they put it into his mind to run like how Wayne Galliman was running,
exactly,
he would save his career. Because
I mean, he can do it. It's just that they need to coach it into him.
Exactly. And I think when you look at these kind of injuries that have been on the rise, not just in front of our eyes, but statistically in every single sports league, you're seeing more and more of this stuff. It's because, just like Hub said, every generation, not only are we getting better and better with sports science and sports performance and all this cool technological analytical stuff, kids are starting younger on that stuff and optimizing their muscle groups and optimizing their muscle movement. Problem is, you can't optimize your ligaments. That's not something you can train, and the human body is only designed to do so much. And when a guy like Saquon Barkley is out here doing this stuff, and he's putting so much force on his knees every single play after play after play, and you watch him on these slow motion plays, when he makes these cuts, it's like he's doing a deep squat on every rep.
What was the one thing people always used to talk about, like especially his rookie year, how low he makes his center of gravity come to make the explosive plays.
And when you're doing that lateral movement, there's only so much those ligaments can take. And again, I draw it back to baseball because that's the sport I know. Y'all can look at basketball because that's the sport you know. When you're looking at these players and you're looking at a pitcher that's throwing 100-mile-an-hour heat every pitch, the arm can only take so much. And again, this is just the documentary I watched. When pitchers are doing this stuff, and this is just a general idea of what we're talking about here with how this sports advancement goes, pitchers these days, when they're throwing a fastball that fast, Aroldis Chapman, as we all know, is the big heater guy, not so much as he used to be, but at one point, he was throwing 105, right? So when you throw a 105-mile-an-hour fastball and your arm is here, this is the equivalent of holding up 12 5-pound bowling balls right in this position from your fingertips. It's not good. You're going to get injured. It's just inevitable.
Also, to add on, it's something much simpler I think we're overlooking. Any normal running back, and we just talked about how abnormal Saquon is, behind the Giants' O-line, getting tackled before you hit the line of scrimmage is going to get injured. Like, he gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage, like, all the time. Like, that is something contact injuries down as well, yeah.
And that's one thing that I think a lot of people were confused about coming into this season, because one of the big storylines that I'm not sure how many of us remember when we were starting the season up was, we didn't have OTAs, we didn't have normal training camp, we didn't have enough time for these players to get their bodies adjusted, so you're going to see a lot more injuries.
Thank you.
And we did. Mm-hmm. But then there was 1 week, I think it was the week Saquon tore his ACL, it might have been the week after, where there were like 10 star players in 1 week. Nick Bosa too. They all tore the ACL same week. That's not a contact thing. That's not something, in very rare situations it might be, but that's not something that's going to get caused from not having OTAs. That's just where the league is headed if we're not careful.
I completely agree with Nate. That was one thing I was like completely harping on in the offseason. I don't want to shift away from it, but let me get this super chat by Justin Hubner. Thank you so much for the $2. He says, thoughts on Raduns, Eichenberg, or Mayfield at 42? Talking tackles there at 42.
Not nearly as important is this tackle discussion as what's going on in chat. People are looking at your mom, Kush.
No.
People looking at your mom, bro.
I can't do anything about that. All right. I'm going to just say,
golly.
Keep it respectful, people.
I will say, Frosty made it out of Sabrina fast and onto Hub's mom, dude. He is 1 minute he's on Sabrina, he moved on quick.
You know what? He's like one of my friends. He takes rejection like a champ.
He's like Jones. He's like Jones. He doesn't feel the pressure, so it doesn't affect him. That's right.
Oh my god. I ain't even going to address it. But
there you go, man.
Man, I'm smoking a black and mild. What are y'all talking about?
Hubner, I won't mind it, but it definitely wouldn't be my first choice. I mean, those are all good tackles, so I wouldn't mind it. They're coming in and starting, in my opinion, but it wouldn't be my first choice.
If we don't have a player of need on the board at 42, like if Terrace Marshall's gone, if all these other great receivers are gone that we like, guys like Kadarius Toney maybe. If all those guys are gone, and for some strange reason the corners that we like are also off the board, I wouldn't mind it, because obviously Jalen Phillips, Azeez Ojulari, the chance of them being there is very minimal. So if Eichenberg's on the board, and we really just don't have anything else of need there, I could stomach it. I wouldn't hate it.
What about you guys on the tackles?
I say no, and no. 3, 4.
I say give it to Matt Barrett, man.
Than offensive tackle right now, and that's a great thing to say.
Sure,
because it used to be offensive tackle or death.
Yeah, pretty much.
But we have bigger needs than offensive tackle now. If they're the best player on the board, like Hub said, take them.
Right.
We have way more needs, and there's gonna be a receiver there because it's it's like 20 receivers that I believe that could actually do something in the NFL in this draft.
I'm just talking in some strange fantasy world where those are the only guys on the board left.
Don't be a tweener. Shave your wiener.
Joel is saying he's not trolling, but he is definitely trolling you. He's lying, Hub. He's enjoying this a little too much.
I didn't mean to highlight that. I was supposed to highlight the comments on Pat Fryer.
Frosty is not limited to one woman. He's not going to be chained down here.
Pat Fryer move?
It's a free spirit.
I love Pref. He's the
best tight end. He's for this system for Jason Garrett.
He is an offensive tackle playing tight end, bro.
Oh yeah, he blocks like a monster.
He would be the perfect tight end for our system, man.
And a lot of these tight ends coming out these days get the nickname Baby Gronk. Every single tight end is Baby Gronk. Pat Freiermuth actually plays like Baby Gronk.
He blocks like an offensive tackle and still has a great receiving skill set.
Absolutely.
And has speed to go with it.
I'm going to tell you this right now. The only reason Kyle Pitts is ranked above him is just because of how explosive Kyle Pitts is in the receiving game. But in my opinion, if we're talking the whole complete package, the best complete tight end in the class is Fryer. Yeah.
And I'm a Gator fan.
Let me pose a question to you guys. And I don't want to stir the pot, but that's what I like doing. I like stirring the pot.
You're just like Frosty. You're saying you don't want to stir the pot. You definitely want to stir the pot.
Yo, he's about to ask. He's about to ask, what if the Giants go Trevon Grimes at 11?
You're like Pest when he was on here last time.
He's the best wide receiver in the Giants. Listen,
Pest was on here last time and he was going, "Oh, I don't want to be the guy that gets mad." He definitely wants to be the guy that gets mad.
Quick side note before I get onto my question. Quick side note about Trevon Grimes. I know he's been a meme in the Giants community lately.
He's a good pickup in the 6th round.
I like him.
He's a good pickup in the 6th round.
Yeah. I do like him. But
I told you he's a red zone threat.
All right, stir the pot, KB. Stir the pot. It's yours to stir.
I'm stirring the pot now.
Real quick, I just want to say, because Sabrina is still watching. Frosty, I'm going to ask you to calm down because you're probably making her uncomfortable, bro.
Man.
Let's not be doing that in here.
Yeah. Frosty, let's calm it down, man. We love Sabrina. All right, so I want to stir the pot a little bit. What if the Giants? All right. The Giants at 11, they get the receiver you're choosing. Okay, Devontae's besides Jamar Chase.
I can already tell this is building something terrible.
Yeah. So we get our wide receiver in the 1st round, and then the 2nd round we get Pat Freiermuth if he lands there. What would you guys think about that? Honestly, your honest opinions. What would you guys think if we got Pat Freiermuth? We got a tight end in the 2nd round as opposed to addressing other needs, but he probably is the best player on the board.
And we got a wide receiver.
And we got a wide receiver.
A+.
And we're saying Ingram is still on the board. Ingram is still on the Giants.
Ingram is still on the Giants.
I'm gonna tell you right now. For me, that's it, bro. Daniel Jones has all the weapons in the world, bro. Pat Freiermuth, one of the best receivers in the draft. Saquon.
That's why I wanted to
still the receivers we currently have.
That's why I wanted to stir the pot a little bit. So, say if we get our wide receiver, right? We get our wide receiver in the 1st round, and the 2nd round comes. Are we all cheering for Pat Freiermuth? Yeah. Is that what we're doing?
If he's there, I wouldn't mind. I'm not cheering for it, but I wouldn't mind it.
I just think
he would be
I was thinking, who has better value than Pat Freiermuth at 42 that we need? Like, is there going to be a corner that's better?
Again, Now, if we're saying in the same example as the tackles where everyone else is off the board, then yeah, absolutely Freiermuth. But just if we're assuming that there's other players there, like say Asante Samuel is there, say
I'm
like
taking him over Asante Samuel.
sorry.
I'm taking him over Asante Samuel all day.
I still
disagree.
think Samuel's a slot
Really?
corner. Yeah.
All right.
Maybe I
I
need
like
to go
the
back
Asante
and
Well,
look at
the
it.
point is, let's say one of
lot.
these edges drops, one of these corners drops, someone that we need as a need over tight end because we still have Evan Ingram, and as much as we all love to hate on him, he is a starting caliber tight end in this league and then some. And you can't live in 2 tight end sets. That's just not what Garrett's system is. So, like, as much as I like Freiermuth as a prospect, I think the easy cop out that's here for me in this situation, as much as you love stirring the pot, is that the Giants have been stirring the pot, apparently trying to deal Ingram. So if we can take that and we can take that route, and yeah, I know it's not an official source, whatever.
That's a fake dude, bro. He had 2 followers.
Point is,
he had 2 followers.
Yeah,
no.
It went to 90. It went to 90.
Oh, did it?
I mean, in general, if one of these trades ends up happening, if we do deal Ingram, because that was something that was being said way before that weirdo's tweet. Let's be real. We've been talking about that for way longer than that. If we do trade Ingram, then any of these tight ends are on the board for me. At that point, Kyle Pitts is even a viable selection to me at 11. But for me, with Ingram still on the team, and he still is a good weapon, despite how frustrating he is as a main option, and we've already gotten our wide receiver 1, which would take the pressure off of Ingram and make it so that we're not looking his way in every crucial moment, I just don't see it as an efficient pick. Big Blue wants to say something.
I do want to add something real quick, and I think I agree with Nate's point about the whole thing if Ingram's still on the team, because in a way you're screwing yourself a little bit if you're the Giants, because unless you want to stick with a 2 tight end tandem of Pitts and Ingram, which is really weird, you're really lowering the trade value for Evan Ingram. You really are at that point, and you're saying, no, so long, Evan Ingram, and other teams will be like, well, you're getting rid of him, so now we don't want to trade for him as much anymore. And the other point, we were talking about, options at 42. I know someone brought up Jalen Phillips, and I just want to make this point. Then one example I had from last year's draft, obviously with the opt-outs and everything, everyone's going to drop, or at least some prospects will drop. One that stands out to me with injury history is Tyler Bidash. A lot of Giants fans wanted him the 3rd round of the draft last year, went all the way almost to the 6th round. 2 picks before us, and the Cowboys took him. So that's just a note to keep.
It's a pretty good point. I want to be honest so much.
Yeah. Hey guys, just like that, I got a dip, so I'll see you guys soon. We got the Young Guns podcast tomorrow, right? So
yeah, for sure. I'm ending in 8 minutes at 11:30. Anyway,
all right, cool. All right, guys, I got a dip. I gotta see you guys later. Nice working with all of you. Nice seeing all you guys. Later, chat. See you guys later.
All right, KB.
Peace. Have a good one.
If there's not a prospect that we seen that we need more than Pat Freiermuth at 42, I don't care if I got Evan Ingram on the squad. I'm still taking Pat Freiermuth. Why?
Yeah.
Because he's a better tight end than Evan Ingram. Not only does he bring receiving skill, he can still be a dominant receiver.
Absolutely.
He brings way better blocking than Evan Ingram. So now our run game is even more efficient now too.
And again, if those players in need aren't there, yeah, totally.
You don't have to play him. He causes turnovers. He causes drives to stall. He causes DJ to be like, dang, man, what can I do? I'm getting it to him, but he's just not catching it.
Yeah.
It brings the morale of the team back. Those passes that Evan Ingram dropped, Freiermuth is catching those. And don't believe for a second that he can't route somebody up, because I've seen his film.
He can, but he's also not the same receiving threat Ingram is.
I believe he's a better receiving threat than Evan Ingram.
I disagree with that.
I definitely disagree with that. I mean, I think Freiermuth's a good player, but
you guys are more excited because he can run real fast and get past somebody on a deep pass. I'm talking about in the trenches where they need him. Those catches across the middle, those routes against those linebackers where he can throw the seam route, he runs a better seam route than Evan Ingram.
I would take Freiermuth.
Evan Ingram can't run a route to save his life. He only gets by on athleticism. Pat Freiermuth will bring a whole different thing to this offense, man. We will have a legit tight end in there who moves the chains. I'd rather take that than some guy that can make a splash play here and there and then turn around and fumble the ball when he catches it, or turn around and let it tips off his hands into a DB. Pat Fryermuth. If we get Pat Fryermuth, DJ's career is gonna take off. If we can somehow get that guy in the second round, I promise you, the way they run that offense.
Are you saying if we get him alone or if we get him in addition to a receiver?
In addition to a receiver, you said we getting a receiver in the first round.
Yeah, that was
right?
the situation that was posed. Yeah.
So that means we got a number one receiver. We got Slayton. We still got Shepard. And I promise you, Tamari Terry is going to be in there in the 4th or 5th round. If they don't take him in the 4th or 5th round, I'm going to be pissed because I did a video on that guy. That guy brings a whole lot to the field.
Yeah. And sorry, timeout. We just got to talk about what Dylan Renner just said. He says he doesn't like Chase.
Chase?
Excuse me, what? For what reason exactly? Please defend this.
Jamar Chase is
because he doesn't have elite speed, I guess. I don't know.
He has good enough. He has more than good enough speed. Actually.
Oh yeah, I would love to see him defend this opinion.
But shout out to Simon Z. He says speed doesn't mean anything if you can't agree. I agree with Pat. And then Pat, you got a nickname on the channel now. AP, thank you for the chat. He says, "Yo, Patrick Graham is spitting."
That's good. I like that.
I like that too, man. Thank you, man. Thanks, AP.
But it's a whole lot better than Andy Dalton Jr.
Yeah, and Diggy gets called Darius Slayton Jr. and Logan Ryan Jr.
Hey, Bobby called you Taz from WWE.
You do kind of look like Taz, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
By the way, I am guilty of just literally 2 hours ago making a Diggy Darius Slayton crack in Benny's stream.
This dude's ridiculous. Just want to say, does anybody here watch RDC World? They're like some of my favorite YouTubers, great comedian guys, make skits and whatnot. Anybody?
Can't say I do.
Yeah.
Anybody in the chat?
They're actually pretty damn funny.
Yo, I've been watching them since their Black Avengers video like 4 years ago, bro. They might be getting a TV show. Like a man just kind of said it on Twitter. That's crazy. That you talk about a come up. They start off with like 500 subs. Now they're like at 10 million plus and whatnot. Like 5 years doing the work. They moved.
Talk about a success story, right there.
Yeah, they literally, there was one of their streams. Mark, the guy who's kind of, I guess you could say, the leader of them. He was talking about how
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, they moved out of like 3 different houses and whatnot to try and keep the dream going, and like it's going. Like they might be getting a TV show now. That's amazing to me. I love those guys,
Good for
man.
them, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, and they've been like, they're just like friends that came together. Like they got none.
Yeah.
Like they were.
That's the best way to do it. That's the best way to have a group on YouTube,
right?
Yeah, they do Anime House too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
I mean, I get my football comedy from SEC Shorts. That's where
you should get it from Chisel Adonis as well.
Yeah, you've told me about that.
That dude is hilarious.
I have failed to get myself over to that channel. I admit.
That dude is hilarious.
I had Chiseled on the channel. I'm gonna have him back on because it's the offseason now. He's
get
available.
him on the channel, man. When he does his NFL Weekly thing,
his commentary.
His commentary, man, that is some of the best stuff you can see, man. And then when he be doing the fights and everything,
he does everything.
I love when he does the. You ever played Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Remember when he used to do the sliding into DMs?
Sliding.
I'm sorry. Dylan Renner is attempting to defend his "I don't like Jamar Chase" point of view right now, and it is absolutely asinine. I'm not gonna lie.
He is a possession receiver. He actually slacks a separation among certain quarterbacks when he played at LSU. How you think he will be when he versus a top tier talent at corner?
He played top tier talent at corner. He's in the SEC.
Ask Patrick Surtain about Jamar Chase. Ask Trey Diggs about Jamar Chase.
This is dumb as hell.
Ask the college football world about Jamar Chase. He has a route skill set.
I did read your comments, Dylan. I did. I read them.
That one I don't know necessarily about in terms of that, because I think a lot of people were, instead of pointing to his injury history rather than just his route running, Kenny Galladay.
Yeah, and the other thing is, every receiving threat is different, and I get that we want a separator. I get that that's what Giants fans want, but even if Jamar Chase is not an incredible separator, he is still so incredibly aggressive at the catch point, and his catch radius is so ridiculously large, and he is so physically dominant against corners, it does not matter. I don't understand the crusade you're going on against him right now.
Yeah, he's one of the strongest receivers that's came out in a long time.
And he's talking about Kenny Galladay versus Allen Robinson right now, and I understand the comparison in play style to Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay's still a really good receiver. I don't understand where the logic is coming from here.
Like, if we get Jamar Chase, that's an A. I'm not even watching the rest of the draft.
Yeah, that's something that
I
the
agree.
Giants really need is that physical.
Bro, if he drops to 11, and we don't take him, what do you think the reaction's gonna be?
They're gonna want to get him fired.
Get him.
Twitter.
Well, Kid
I
Blue's
won't
gonna
even-
march down to the Meadowlands.
Right.
We're gonna have to go along with him.
Doesn't it mean we have to put some of the blame on Judge as well? Because we love to say now Judge has a lot to say.
Sorry, hold on. Timeout again. Dylan is now saying, I'm not denying that at all, but teams weren't doubling Chase because of Jefferson. Okay, so now the argument has become Jamar Chase is not a good receiver because he wasn't getting double-teamed in college. What? Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith played on the same team. They cannot both be getting double-teamed. Does that mean that the one of them that wasn't getting double-teamed is not good? Is that what this argument is now?
Yo, Pat just looks straight into the camera.
Henry Ruggs the year before too.
And then people were saying Justin Jefferson was a quality of Jamar Chase last year. You seen what Jefferson did in the league. So imagine what Chase is going to do.
What is this? I'm sorry. You know what?
As the number one receiver.
Yeah.
Hands down.
I'm sorry.
He steps on the field.
I'm being a little bit too much of a jerk about this right now, but at the same time, I just don't understand this. Like, I get everyone is entitled to their opinion. If you think what you think about that, that's fine. You're entitled to your own takes, but I just don't get it. And Kurt, I love you too, bro. Thanks.
He says never said he wasn't a good receiver.
And also,
Nate, listen, 1v1 corner talent, you think gonna happen? Look, bro.
Let's almost say to end it off, because I do got to end the stream as past 11:30 now. A lot of people, including myself, think Chase is possibly the best LSU receiver to come out in like the past however long, bro. Like you talking about that guys like OBJ, guys.
Why'd you leave?
Guys like Jefferson, like that's saying something.
Bruh. I mean, you can't just come up here with a Mets profile picture, talk some crap, and leave. That's just.
You said red flags for me. Chase can easily be the best player in this. What?
What? Oh, there's Kurt. Kurt, why can't I at you? Oh, there you are.
So you saying that they're saying that Chase could easily be the best player in this draft is a red flag for you? I'm gonna ask Dylan this: do you watch film on anybody?
Is he saying he has bust potential?
Yeah, he's saying that Chase. Only way Chase can be a buzz is if he gets hurt. That's the only way.
You could say that about anybody in the draft, though. Every
exactly
single has
that's what I'm
potential.
Saying. That statement is so asinine. That's the only way he can be a buzz is if he gets hurt.
Like I guess I can kind of understand, like in a small way, the argument of he only played 1 year. There's something valid there, but at the same time, let's go. He knows what it is. But at the same time, when a player is playing 1 year, and that 1 year is so dominant as a 19-year-old against ridiculous competition in the SEC, and he's doing what he's doing, and this is a double-edged sword, on a team crowded with talents like Justin Jefferson, like Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the backfield, and he's doing that 1 year is worth enough to say that he's a great prospect.
And he did it against the SEC.
Exactly.
And guys, I'm gonna end it off right there. Thank you to the chat for keeping up with us, man. We had 70 people in here all night. Thank you guys so much. You guys were amazing. Shout out to the guys that called in and then ended up being an impromptu panel. Big Pat, Rob, Nate, and Alex.
Always a blast.
Yeah, Kurt. Really, bro. Anyway, I'm gonna end it right there.
Kurt's 12. No doubt.
I'm in right there, guys. Have a good night.
I overestimated his crap talking ability.
All right.